I'm scarred by my summer excursions of European women's football. But yeah, the sprinkler got me. Let's get it out there. It's done. I went viral for the day.
We would have presented pitchside had Jermaine still not been getting flashbacks from being doused by the water during the summer. It's a busy night of action at the World Athletics Championships in London. You can hear coverage right now on Sports Extra, but to tell us what we can look forward to, here's Ed Harry.
And the first of the Brits is already in action. Lorraine Ugan in the women's long jump final, but 2 fouls so far, so needs a legal jump next time, or she won't have 3 further attempts. It is a big night. 3 British women in the semi-finals, the 800 metres. Adele Tracy, Lindsay Sharp and Shalana Ozcan-Clark. Sharp is in Caster Semenya's heat. And then the semi-finals of the men's 1500 metres. Jake Whiteman, who won memorably at the Oslo Diamond League earlier in the season. Whiteman and Chris O'Hare both going in the 15. Then, of course, at 10 to 10, Dina Asher-Smith in the 200 metres final.
Thanks, Ed. We'll be across to the team watching the athletics at about 9:45 tonight after Arsenal against Leicester, and the coverage continues throughout the evening on Sports Extra as well. Now, Rugby League Super 8s continue this evening. There are 3 games tonight, and our correspondent Dave Woods is at the AJ Bell Stadium watching Salford against Castleford,
where Castleford Fletch will just about seal the league leaders' shield with a win tonight, because if they do win, they will be 10 points clear of second place Leeds with 5 matches left and a points difference that is enormously more advantageous than Leeds as well. So all but mathematically they could seal it here tonight. But Salford are one team who have beaten them this year. The first defeat of the season for Cass was here at Salford, and a Salford win propels them back into the top 4 mix in the race for the grand final as well. So key game here. Also, St Helens in 5th against 3rd placed Hull. Those league positions could swap around if Saints win, but Hull looking to consolidate their top 4 place. And 7th place Huddersfield go to 8th placed Wigan. Whoever loses that game, you rather feel is out of the grand final running. Even the winner has got a bit of ground to make up on the top 4. So some fascinating games, and we could have a bit of a shake-up of the 3 games tonight.
Thanks, Woodsy. Sounds really interesting. Dave's going to keep us across all of that through the night here on 5 Live. And there's some cricket as well tonight. Yorkshire playing Lancashire Roses match in the T20 Blast this evening. Kevin Howells.
We've had 1 stoppage for rain, but no loss of overs, I'm pleased to say, and Yorkshire will aim to keep just thrashing this ball around this Headingley venue. Adam Lyth, the man, out. First wicket down, released an amazing knock of 50 off 29 deliveries, 4 sixes and 4 fours, an opening stand of 95 in 8 overs, out just before the players went off. Outstanding start for Vikings continued just after that break, but Cola Cadmore has now been dismissed for 45, so they're 109 for 2, Yorkshire. Outstanding start for them, as I say, after 10 overs.
Thanks, Kevin. The Emirates continues to fill. It's always probably the latest ground to fill before a league fixture, the Premier League season, often underway in about 11 minutes' time on 5 Live Sport. And we'll build up to Arsenal versus Leicester and get down to the nitty-gritty. The Premier League is almost back. The summer is almost over, and we'll really start to build up to this big fixture after the 5 Live News with Helen Place.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
World leaders have expressed concern at the heightened rhetoric over North Korea's nuclear program, as President Trump warned that the US military is locked and loaded. Pyongyang says it's finalising plans to fire missiles at the US Pacific territory of Guam. Several members of a traveller family based in Lincolnshire have been convicted of involvement with a modern slavery ring. Vulnerable people were forced to work for the Rooney family for little or no wages while they lived a life of luxury. A man who murdered his brother by setting fire to him as he slept has been jailed for at least 20 years. 27-year-old Blair Logan also tried to kill his brother's girlfriend at the family home in East Dunbartonshire on New Year's Day. More than 200 homes in 4 tower blocks in South London could be evacuated over safety concerns. Gas supplies to the Ledbury Towers have been cut off after checks following the Grenfell Tower fire showed the concrete structure may not withstand an explosion. And 3 men have been jailed for producing cannabis on an industrial scale at a former nuclear bunker in Wiltshire. It was producing £2 million worth a year. They were given sentences of between 5 and 8 years.
King's in here and scores! Rushford! Rashford finds the back of the net.
The 5 Live Football Daily.
He will be a brilliant centre-forward, there's no doubt about that.
We're short. I look at the bench and I've got no change.
There's not one player has played better in their career.
He's been the talk of world football all week. This is more than just a game.
More than just a game. Subscribe to the 5 Live Football Daily podcast to receive the latest news, views and analysis direct to your inbox.
The one that came your way though, lovely first touch and then bang.
Yeah, left foot as well, which I was very surprised it went in a straight line.
This is 5 Live Sport with Darren Fletcher.
Alongside Jermaine Genus and John Murray at the Emirates. JJ slightly distracted at the moment because the sprinklers are back on, so he might run for cover any minute. You know what, John? I always think it's fantastic because you arrive on a night like this, or in the past it's been an afternoon like this, and nobody's got a care in the world. Nobody's lost a game, no manager's under pressure, none of the players are getting slaughtered, and all of the fans believe that it could be their season. The Arsenal fans believe, and of course the Leicester fans do, because they've done it before. I mean, it's great, isn't it, when you turn up and you can just enjoy it tonight, but you've got about 90 minutes before the lunacy begins.
Yeah, but doubly so, I think, these days, because of what Leicester did a couple of years ago. So if you're someone like Watford and have spent all of that money on Andre Gray this week, suddenly you're thinking, do you know what? And the rest of the players, we were talking about, weren't we, before, about Watford's recruiting this summer. All of the clubs think, it's not completely beyond the bounds of belief that we might be able to do something. And I'll tell you as well, tonight, I was thinking today, it must be brilliant for the fans of Huddersfield and Brighton this week, today, the eve of the start of the season. 1972 and 1983, the last time those two clubs were playing in the top flight.
I'm going to be at Brighton tomorrow tea time to watch that game against Manchester City, and I'm actually wondering at what time during the match, if Manchester City hit stride, the Brighton supporters realise exactly where they're going to be for the next 9.5 months, because potentially they couldn't have a worse fixture on the opening night than Manchester City at home. I've got to say as well, wonders will never cease, because Jermaine Genus, ex-Tottenham, has just been dragged away by a gaggle of Arsenal supporters to have pictures. You are loved at the Emirates these days, Jay.
Just a nice guy, Fletch, you know what I mean? Got short memories.
So what about this one tonight then, fellas? Because Arsenal come here as big favourites to win the match, but we know what Leicester City's tactics are going to be. They're going to sit back and soak up the pressure and hope to catch them on the counter-attack. It's 3 at the back for Arsenal. Lacazette's in the team. There's no Alexis Sanchez. How do you see this going, Jay, tonight? What are the key areas for the respective teams tonight?
Well, it's a weird one because, I mean, I have to say, the back 3 of Arsenal, I wouldn't say fills me with any confidence defensively, especially. Essentially, you've got 2 left-backs in your back 3. I think Holding actually has been a revelation since joining Arsenal. In the midfield area, I've been impressed with Xhaka in pre-season. I've just, had a good look at him there, and he looks leaner, I think. He looks a bit fitter. Whether they'll be able to dominate that midfield, I'm not entirely sure. I've seen enough from them both to do that. And I just think this game against Leicester is a tricky one. I really do. They know exactly, as you said, how they're going to set up to play, and it's going to be down to Arsenal to break them down. And you don't want to be caught in a situation where the fans start to turn on the first day of the season. I think these Arsenal fans need to be appreciative of the type of game that the players are up against today, and continually support throughout to give their team the best chance to win the game.
John, the phrase World Cup year has been used a lot already tonight, and look at Danny Welbeck, and that name kind of jumps out the team sheet, that he wants to stay fit, doesn't he? If he's going to get to Russia in the summer, he needs a season like he's not had for a while, or he doesn't pick up serious injuries, and it's a big season for him starting tonight against Leicester City.
Yeah, because he's a player, when I've seen him for England, he very often produces for England. He's one of those players that has been able to transfer, when he's in good club form, that form onto the international field. So yeah, Arsenal and England need him, and so they and England hope that he'll be revitalised. And just looking at the Arsenal squad there, no one thinks they're going to win the league, but look at some of the power that they've got there. If Sanchez stays, Welbeck, Lacazette, Giroud on the bench, Walcott, Iwobi, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Ramsey on the bench tonight. That's not bad. In terms of potential,
Jack Wilshere can't get on there.
Cazorla, obviously, still long-term injured. But as Jermaine was saying earlier, it's all about keeping them fit.
Jay, let's have a look at Leicester.
Yeah.
One name that really intrigues me in the Leicester team tonight is Harry Maguire, who impressed everybody last season. He's one of the players who may well come under consideration at some stage for Gareth Southgate if he can show consistency in the Premier League. What are we expecting from him? And maybe more importantly, what are we expecting from Leicester under Craig Shakespeare? Because it's his first full season. He's had the pre-season. He's brought in players that he wants. He's not doing a rescue job like he did at the back end of last season. This is his team now. What do you think they'll look like?
Well, I think towards the back end of last year, we got a glimpse of what we're probably about to see from this Leicester team. All the players seemed very happy with the fact that Craig Shakespeare got the job. So even in that year that they won the league, that he was heavily influential, obviously, in the way that they played, in talking to the players and making sure that they were set up right. So they will revert back to that. In terms of Harry Maguire, I think it was a perfect fit. I really do. I think he's a player that's very good on the ball. He's strong, he's aggressive, he wins a lot of challenges, and I think it's exactly what they needed. When they kind of went without one of their centre-halves, whether it be Huth or Morgan, they fell short with Bella-Luan, so I think he'll fit in perfectly.
And Gareth Southgate, just seen a picture of him sitting upstairs somewhere here, so he's here tonight. Great opportunity for Harry Maguire against Arsenal this evening in front of the England manager.
Great opportunity for both of these teams. The summer is almost over. The wait is almost over. The Premier League is almost back as the players start to leave the tunnel here at the Emirates Stadium. The purple and yellow Premier League board is on the pitch. The mascot to the left, and the roar you can hear is as Petr Cech emerges at the front of the Arsenal line. He's the captain tonight in the absence of Lauren Koscielny. And Wes Morgan, who 2 seasons ago lifted the Premier League title, leads out Leicester City. Craig Shakespeare's first full season in charge. Leicester emerging from the tunnel without the weight of the world, the weight of the Premier League title hanging around their necks. And you wonder, in the next 9.5 months, what's in store for Arsene Wenger and Arsenal. The Premier League season starts here, the first of 144 live commentaries on the home of the Premier League, 5 Live Sport. And the first one is brought to you by Jermaine Genus and our football correspondent, John Murray.
I know it's said, Darren, I didn't think it would, but it does feel slightly odd that it's starting on a Friday night. Almost always a Saturday afternoon. But the scene is set. The teams now, Leicester peeling off their blue tracksuit tops and throwing them to the kit man. Arsenal likewise with their bright red tracksuit tops and peeling away. Arsenal to the left and Leicester to the right. This new Premier League season is almost upon it. It is the 119th season of top-flight football in England, and this one begins here in the capital. It was a glorious day when I arrived in London this afternoon. Real summertime. The tourists were out in force. The holiday makers. I had a little trip down by the River Thames today, Jermaine. It was absolutely cool. I do love it. And the stadium here tonight, it was almost shining. It was almost glistening when I arrived. And inside, it's all smoked glass and sleek curving lines. The Emirates Stadium, it's almost never looked better. Almost moving into Henry Blofeld territory. But it is still the cricket season, and the Arsenal players just beginning to line up. It is Petr Cech who's the captain tonight in vivid fluorescent orange, standing, towering over Mike Dean as his assistant. And then another huge figure, Wes Morgan, arrives, the Leicester City captain, to shake hands with Peter Schmeichel. It is the 25th anniversary of the birth of the Premier League, of course, this month, and this season it will be kicked off by 2 of the only 6 clubs to have won the title in that time. Arsenal lining up tonight with Petr Cech in goal, 3 central defenders in Holding, Monreal and Kolasinac, so a Premier League debut for him. There's no Per Mertesacker after he knocked that cut on the eyebrow in the Community Shield. Hector Bellerin and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain are the wing-backs. Mohamed El Neni and Grant Xhaka are in the middle. Then Mesut Ozil, Danny Welbeck and Alexandra Lacazette. Koscielny is suspended, Sanchez is injured, Ramsey is among the substitutes, and Leicester tonight, their big money signing Iheanacho is on the bench. The team: Schmeichel, Simpson, Morgan, Maguire and Fuchs, Mahrez, James and Diddy, Albrighton, Okazaki and Vardy. So here we are. We're almost ready. An exciting opening weekend lies ahead of us. But here under grey skies now at the Emirates Stadium on a Friday night for the very first time, the Premier League is about to begin. Stand by for another 9 months of mayhem, activity, action and drama. And the Premier League is back as Mike Dean blows his whistle and Arsenal get the new season underway here against the champions of 2016, Leicester City. Arsenal themselves 13 times champions of England, but not having won it since back in 2004. Arsenal playing in the first half from left to right. Their manager, Craig Shakespeare, who signed a new 3-year contract at the end of last season, is already there on the edge of his coaching area with his arms crossed. He's been in charge for only 16 matches so far as the interim manager. And here's Okazaki now down the left-hand side. Tried to slip it forward for Vardy on the edge of the area, but it's tidied up by Monreal, who in the absence of Mertesacker and Koscielny is playing as the central of the 3 central defenders. Here's Welbeck now shrugging off 2-3 challenges, and then eventually one of them gets him. Free kick, which is taken from the wrong place by Ozil, so referee Dean will bring it back. Jermaine Genius is with us here for the first match of the season.
Yeah, Mike Dean just signalling that the ball was rolling, and it was unfortunate for Arsenal because it was some clever play from Mesut Ozil to realise the opportunity to take a quick free kick. Got it out to Oxlade-Chamberlain, but unfortunately for them, Mike Dean pulled it back.
A really busy night of sport actually on a Friday night. We're also keeping it across Celtic 0, Partick 0 in the Premiership in Scotland, but 0-0 very early stages, and Arsenal on the ball on the left hand side with Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then it's back for the ball driven in by Xhaka right across the edge of the penalty area. Bellerin lays it back in from El Neni, and a header from Lacazette. He scored! Arsenal's club record signing. He takes 90 seconds to get off the mark in the Premier League. A little deft header, 7-8 yards out, beyond the dive of Schmeichel to his right. What a start to the Premier League for Arsenal. Lacazette on the score sheet. Arsenal 1, Leicester 0.
Well, it's Arsenal's first attack, and really and truthfully, Lacazette should not be getting a free header in that situation. It comes back to El Neni. He's almost centre of the pitch. He kind of whips it towards the back post. Lacazette doesn't even have to move. I think Wes Morgan is committed himself to try and win the ball, misreads the cross. Lacazette sees it coming. It's a fantastic header into the bottom corner. Schmeichel has no chance.
Loved the reaction from Lacazette. Absolutely loved it. Talk about a wild goal celebration. That was as cool as they come. Here's Vardy though for Leicester into the penalty area against Arsenal, but it's recovered well actually by Holding. I thought he was away from Holding, but he got back well and was able to stab it out for a throw on the left hand side. And some supporters are actually just coming in. I mean, it's London on a Friday night. It's 7:45 kickoff. People haven't been able to get here on time, and they've missed Lacazette putting Arsenal, and the guy there has just come in with his stylish beard, and he's actually said, here's Leicester throwing to the penalty area. El Neni heads it away, comes out for the edge, to the edge of the area where Mahrez hit the volley, and it flew wide by probably only a yard or so.
Well, he's hit it absolutely perfectly. It's a long throw from Christian Fuchs, finds its way to the 18-yard box. He's got his knee over it, his hip in the right position, and struck it perfectly. So unfortunately for him, just went wide.
Yeah, the guy with the beard comes in and says to Neil Ashton of the Daily Mail in front of us, what's the score? Who scored?
You sound pretty upset about this beard, John.
No,
what's the matter?
I'm just describing him. Describing him, Jermaine.
Okay.
That's all I'm trying to.
Descriptive.
Just let people know what he looked like. But the Lacazette celebration, he headed it in, as I say, 8-9 yards out, something like that, and just stood arms wide apart like the statue of Christ in Rio de Janeiro. Here's Vardy with the cross from the left-hand side, but it's blocked, and Bellerin will play it away. And Bellerin loses it to Fuchs, and Fuchs drives it across to the near post with Okazaki sliding into the edge of the 6-yard box. But the defender, Kolasinac, went with him and deflected it wide for a Leicester corner from the left-hand side, which they take short. And now Albrighton with his right foot clips it into the back post. Check was nowhere. It's headed back across, and Okazaki is there. It's an equaliser for Leicester. With just over 4 minutes played, it's 1-1.
Well, I have to say, Leicester City have reacted brilliantly. And ever since the goal went in, they've been the one on the front foot. Poor play for Mesut Ozil originally down this right-hand side. Sloppy, gets the ball taken off him. Christian Fuchs wins a corner. They take it quickly. And when Brighton whips this one towards the back post, is Mahrez and Maguire on their own. Maguire does brilliantly to get it back into play, heads it back across the box, and Okazaki just gets above, I think it's Xhaka in the end, to get it back to 1-1. What a start to the game.
What a start. Arsenal all over the place there at the back. That was a terrible goal there to concede.
It really was, and it was a good ball from Mark Albrighton, but that run around the back post, there wasn't two, one waiting there was two. If it wasn't Mahrez, it was Maguire. But fair play to Leicester, they could have got their heads down after going down to that early goal, but right back in it.
What a start to the new Premier League season we've got for you here on BBC 5 Live. Arsenal 1, Leicester City 1, only 5 minutes on the clock after Lacazette for Arsenal, and then Shinji Okazaki leaping high in the 6-yard area to head in the equaliser. And it's all back square, and the Leicester City supporters in one corner at the Emirates Stadium. Leicester City have never won here in any competition. Indeed, their last win, even at Highbury, was back in 1973. And when that goal went in from Lacazette, they must have thought, here we go again. But not so. And Leicester, with Mahrez having gone close, and that volley from Mahrez, I said a yard away, it was less than that. It was closer to the goal. And they create another chance. I think you said to Ozil who gave it.
It was Ozil
against Fuchs.
Well, it was just poor. The ball comes to him, and he's got to look after it. He's got to get his body in between him, the man and the ball. But he tried to do something clever, had it taken off him in such a dangerous position, and it just caught Arsenal, unaware really.
So that's Jermaine Genius, former Premier League midfielder, England midfielder, here with us at the Emirates Stadium on 5 Live and the BBC Sport app over the next 9 months. 144 Premier League commentaries for you on 5 Live and on Sports Extra. And tomorrow we've got the champions Chelsea starting their defence at home to Burnley. But here's Vardy away down the left-hand side. Vardy lays it in along the edge of the area to Okazaki, who's into the penalty area. And, a decent recovery, actually, in the end, to play it away up towards Mesut Ozil now. Rolls it out to the left-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain, perfectly in his path. Oxlade-Chamberlain shrugs off one challenge. Still going. James comes in. Oxlade-Chamberlain hits the shot from the edge of the area, which flies over the angle of post and bar.
Yeah, it was a brilliant run from Oxlade-Chamberlain, but before that, Nacho Monreal did very well back in his own half. Great run from Vardy, but to recover, win the ball back for his team and not panic and play out once it finds its way to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Once he gets going, he's very difficult to stop. He's got a great change of pace, but the strike was never really heading towards goal.
What a start.
It's been frantic, yeah. This is the Premier League. This is why it's so brilliant. There's been no kind of easing themselves into it. I have to say, I'm surprised at how both teams are attacking.
Okazaki heading it on for Vardy, but a good recovery on the edge of the penalty area by Rob Holding to clear it out.
I have to say, John, I think the link-up play between Okazaki and Vardy already is causing huge problems. Vardy, we know he likes to play on this left-hand side. He's going to be in between Monreal and Holding throughout the majority of this game. They're struggling with it, with his runs in behind already.
Throw-in then, comes back to Fuchs, left-footed ball in, but it's cleared away by Holding on the edge of the area, bounces to the halfway line. Harry Maguire was put under pressure by Lacazette, but just about get the ball to Wes Morgan, who steers it here to Fuchs on the left-hand side. Fuchs' ball is way beyond both Okazaki and Vardy, and will actually dribble out of play next to the corner flag now for a goal kick to Arsenal. So if you've just joined us, Arsenal 1, Leicester City 1. Goal kick for Arsenal. Tomorrow, the 3 o'clock kickoff, Chelsea against Burnley. So we'll be with the champions for the start of their defence. But 5 Live Sport on air from noon tomorrow with Mark Chapman. He's back as well. Chris Waddle and Danny Mills will be alongside Mark from 12 o'clock. All your 5 Live favourites involved tomorrow, because Pat Nevin's involved in the Chelsea match alongside Ian Dennis. And then further commentaries on Sunday with the Newcastle-Tottenham match and the Manchester United-West Ham game. 5 Live, the place to hear them. But here come Arsenal now. Red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts, white socks. Leicester in the almost all blue kit. And it is Arsenal with it on the left-hand side. The ball played into the centre circle by Xhaka. And now here's Monreal. and it's shuffled forward by Holding, the 21-year-old who was part of the under-21 squad in Poland in the summer. Ball out to Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left-hand side, hits a high, very deep cross. Bellerin keeps it in with a header, and the suggestion is that Fuchs caught Bellerin late with a challenge. That's what the supporters' roar there was for, but in fact referee Mike Dean says it's nothing more than an Arsenal corner here on the right-hand side that Xhaka has come across to take. Two Arsenal players in the 6-yard box. Here's the delivery to the back post looking for Monreal, but it was over him, and indeed he went with him. They both missed it, and the ball bounces out of play for a goal kick to Leicester. So Arsenal 1, Leicester 1 here on 5 Live, and a goal kick to Leicester. Jermaine Genius.
Well, as you said, John, it's been a frantic start. Game just about starting to settle down. I have to say, one of the things that stood out to me is the fact that Leicester have come here and are holding their own. You know, we expected them to play more of a counter-attacking style of football and drop a lot deeper, but there seems to be a confidence about them that feels that they can get something out of this game today, which is good to see.
Their new signing, their biggest summer signing, Kelechi Iheanacho, is among the substitutes. He's had a couple of little injuries, so he's only on the substitutes bench tonight. £25 million from Manchester City. Vicente Iborra, the Seville midfielder, is also out injured. He's not involved at all. But the club record signing, Islam Slimani, is on the bench tonight. He had a cut behind his knee after one of the pre-season games, but he's okay. He was involved in training, so he's on the bench tonight. It's a goal kick to Leicester. Leicester pre-season, they went to Hong Kong to play in the Asia Trophy. Played matches against West Brom and Liverpool there, but then in a rather traditional style have played pre-season friendlies against Luton, MK Dons, Wolves, Burton Albion, and didn't fare terribly well. But it's all about what happens when the real thing starts. Arsenal, who were in Australia and in Beijing and Shanghai, that's the way of it. That was just sort of happening, wasn't it, in your playing career, as Okazaki just plays it past Holding and was caught by him, so it's a free kick 10 yards inside the Arsenal half.
How old do you think I am?
I knew as soon as I said that you were going to say that.
I went on all the tours, John.
Good.
I'll let you off with that one. First game of the season. You're allowed 3 of those.
I thought for a moment you were Mark Lawrence.
Yeah.
Free kick to Leicester that Mahrez is going to take. Mahrez will leave it. In fact, Albrighton runs his foot over it. So Mahrez, a little drop of the shoulder pass, like I said, plays it in right-footed, headed away on the edge of the area by Monreal. Simpson, the right back for Leicester, out to the right-hand side. And it is Maguire who's crossing there from the right-hand side, but headed away by Monreal. Comes out to Lacazette, who's able to just poke it away out of play on the right-hand side. Again, promising stuff from Leicester.
Yeah, it was too easy though as well at the same time. Xhaka allowing the cross to come in.
Okazaki, he gets the crossover, but it's over the top of Jamie Vardy, who just stood. Oh, and then a bouncing ball. Bellerin went in for it with a foot up, but neither he nor Fuchs made contact. Bellerin was able to recover, then give it to Ozil on the right-hand side here, on our side of the field, the Arsenal right. Ozil then strokes a pass, left-footed, a curling pass that with the camber of the pitch is perfect, and rolls into the path of Oxlade-Chamberlain. The crowd warned Xhaka that Okazaki was coming. El Neni now to the edge of the area. Lacazette, but was beaten to it by Maguire. Okazaki, and now Mahrez again through to Okazaki in the centre circle, but too many bodies in there for Okazaki, and Arsenal have it back. That's a lovely little pass out to the right-hand side to Bellerin. Bellerin takes on Fuchs, but Fuchs does well, got a foot in. Ball runs to El Neni though. El Neni plays it square to Xhaka, looking for a 1-2. In fact, Ozil takes possession, runs away. James with a challenge. Then a shot from Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think took a deflection, and Schmeichel was able to slave it quite comfortably and actually gave it out very quickly. Leicester looking to get at Arsenal here. But Arsenal are actually pressing Leicester and Mahrez and winning a throw-in in the Leicester right-back area. The throw-in taken quickly, Welbeck trying to force a way through, and in the end the ball's played back to Schmeichel, who clears from the ground. Frantic, high-tempo Premier League action. Ball still in play with Arsenal. It's through from Xhaka. Ozil making a run straight offside, and then tried just to get a deft touch past Schmeichel, but he had been flagged in any case.
Yeah, he was definitely offside. Just having a look at the replay there. I have to say, Mike Dean's had a good start to the game as well. He's allowing, some good tackles to go in. He's allowing the game to flow, and I think that's what's creating the excitement and in the pace of the game.
Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. This busy sporting night. The athletics continues over on the other side of London. You can hear that tonight on 5 Live Sports Extra, but it's been a really, really enjoyable listen and a watch that this week. I don't know whether you've been able to see any of it, Jermaine. Here's a throw for Leicester on the left-hand side. Fuchs bounces off him, takes on El Neni, then bounces off the Austrian fullback's head, and out of play for a throw-in to Arsenal in their own right-back position.
I did go, John, yes.
You were there?
I went to watch the Bolt final, yeah, when he got beat. I was
What
there.
a fantastic race that was. And I mean, in terms of the drama.
Oh, yeah, there was a lot of drama.
Oh.
Yeah, not the result everybody wanted.
Not the result everyone wanted, but what a race it was.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Ball headed forward by Ndidi into the penalty area, and, well, Holding being put under pressure by Okazaki. And it's eventually given us a free kick for a foul by Okazaki on Holding. So the athletics tonight, as I say, 5 Live Sports Extra will let you know of anything that you need to know about here on 5 Live. And as soon as we're done here tonight, we'll be straight over to Sonia McLaughlin and the team at the London Stadium for that. Obviously keeping you right across the US PGA Championship, which you can watch on the red button on the BBC on your television. There's Yorkshire, Lancashire as well tonight. The Rugby League will keep you right across it all. Still 0-0 the Celtic Partick game. 1-1 here, Arsenal Leicester. Bellerin down the right hand side, and the ball's blasted off his face by Albrighton with a volley, and it bounces behind for a goal kick. So Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. And Schmeichel, they've got a moment's respite just for a second or two. So the Leicester supporters in great voice. There must be 3,000-4,000 of them down in that lower part. Actually, if you look up above where the Leicester fans are, to the top tier, the red frontage of the top tier, they've actually now put up the 2017 and the FA Cup logo up there. Here's Ndidi playing the ball through to Jamie Vardy, but he was in an offside position, because for anyone who's not been to the Emirates, all of Arsenal's triumphs over the years, starting in 1930 with the FA Cup, are written on the boards there at the front of the stand. And now it was pointed out to me, there's actually no more space left. So if they win another trophy, they're going to have to redo the whole of that top tier. And Darren's suggesting
there's plenty,
that there is lots of space. But if the spacing between them is the same, they'll have to move them around. That was my point. Here's Holding, crossing the halfway line. Holding up towards Ozil, then back in the centre of the field to Xhaka, who I thought came on well at the end of last season, actually, the Swiss international, after a not very promising start. Here's Oxlade-Chamberlain down the left-hand side, crosses, Bellerin was after it, he put his foot in on the challenge on Albrighton, and yeah, it is given us a free kick, and I'm not surprised.
It's definitely the wide areas for Arsenal which they need to focus on. We know Leicester as a back four, they like to play narrow and not allow many gaps in between them. So I think Oxlade-Chamberlain and Bellerin, are definitely the best options. The more they can get the ball to them, the better. Obviously, the problem with that is every time Bellerin makes that run down this right-hand side, Jamie Vardy's eyes light up. He sees the space for him to run into. So it's a bit of cat and mouse at the minute between, how often Bellerin goes and how often he stays.
18 minutes played. BBC 5 Live. The Premier League is back with us. And the score is Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. If you missed the start, like some of the Arsenal supporters who came in here, you'll have missed Alexandre Lacazette heading in the opening goal, scoring on his Premier League debut with only, made it 90 seconds on the clock, but then Shinji Okazaki equalising with a header, less than 3 minutes later. 1-1 the score. Here come Arsenal. A ball through the middle towards Lacazette, who was tripped by Maguire, just spinning away in the centre circle, and it is a free kick that Arsenal wanted to take quickly, but Mike Dean insists they bring back.
He'll be lucky to get away with this one, I think, Harry Maguire. I think the only thing that might save him, he stayed on his feet, and it was not like he went in with any kind of force in the tackle, but what he has done is he stopped the momentum of the play. Lacazette's away from him, he's got Welbeck spinning off down the left-hand side, making runs. The back four of Leicester is all over the place. It's a clever one almost from Maguire. He knew exactly what he was doing, and it seems that Mike Dean has bought it.
Yeah, he's got away with it. No yellow card for Maguire for that. And Lacazette there playing in the way that you were suggesting that he would before the start of the game, as he did in the Community Shield last Sunday.
Well, he can do both. You know, can hold it up and he can run in behind. So he's a problem.
Alexis Sanchez is watching and has been watching him. I think he'll quite like the idea of playing with Lacazette.
I think more than anything, it gives Arsene Wenger options. You know, there will be a part of this game, I'm guessing, where he will need to turn to Giroud. Yeah. But what that does is it gives that back four another problem, whereas before he hasn't really had that. You know, because even when Sanchez plays up top, he loves to get involved in the game too much, and he's not a natural, I would say, kind of number 9 who plays on the shoulder.
Yeah, I know that you're a big fan of Giroud anyway. We've spoken about that in the past. But I felt for Arsenal, you know, people seem to put 2 and 2 together when Lacazette was signed and feel that, well, Giroud will be off to France or whatever. I felt for Arsenal it was really important for them to keep him, Giroud.
Well, he plays ahead of Lacazette for France.
Quite so.
Which is obviously quite ironic, but definitely need to keep hold of him.
Yeah, sometimes controversially. Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. It's just one of those players, isn't he, that there always seems to be a number of the people who follow his teams who are not that enamoured by him. 1-1 here. Here's Bellerin, who in the end with his hair has gone for headband and worn long down the back of his neck, right to the top of his back actually. He looks as though he's just flown in from Santiago. Here's Arsenal with a little touch from Lacazette, now on the left hand side with Ozil. Questions as well about what his future would be, but he's still here as well. Mesut Ozil. Here's Bellerin now. Bellerin then to Xhaka. Arsenal knocking it round nicely inside the Leicester half, who are very happy to allow Arsenal to have possession of the ball. Always dangerous, so dangerous on the break, the champions of 2016. Now a little ball through towards the edge of the penalty area. It's driven across by Ozil. Then back in for Welbeck, who shot. He was sliding in, and Welbeck's shot was blocked inside the area. I think it was on target, but Leicester were able to clear it.
It's a big chance for Danny Welbeck, that. Typical Arsenal play, nice and incisive around the box. Lovely 1-2 down that left-hand side.
Shot from distance from Xhaka, but that was 35-40 yards. He didn't even reach the penalty area.
He's got to do better, John. He needs to get better contact on the ball. He almost lashes on it. He needs to concentrate, make sure he gets good contact on the ball and just get it on target.
Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. Jermaine Genius with us here on 5 Live. Jermaine will be on Match of the Day on Sunday night.
I will indeed.
Yes, on this busy opening weekend of the Premier League, when we will have commentary after commentary for you. Chelsea against Burnley tomorrow, and obviously Sports Report will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock, and Jason Mohammed and Robbie Savage as well on 606 tomorrow night, when there will be so much to talk about. So make sure you get in with your calls for Jason and Robbie, who are back on air tomorrow night at 606. But here come Leicester as Mahrez was blocked on the halfway line. Well, I thought that was certainly a foul for Leicester, not given. And then it's played forward, and Lacazette's in an offside position, and it's a free kick to Leicester in front of their own penalty area.
It's a bad decision from Mike Dean. I mean, he's doing his whole theatrics of waving his hands and screaming no at him, but you know, a lot of the time when you're running at the pace and moving at the pace that someone like Mahrez does, you don't always have to hit somebody. You know, if Mahrez has got to leap over a leg to stop him, then it's a foul and he's not giving it.
I think, you know, I get the feeling he didn't give that because he just felt that the ball had gone. I think that's why, but it was a free kick.
It was a free kick.
It was a free kick. Just watching as well on our little television screen here showing the Welbeck chance. It's Harry Maguire who blocked it inside the 6-yard box. But that was a good chance. Good chance.
Yeah, it was.
For Welbeck.
It wasn't an easy chance, you know, for Welbeck. Coming across on your left foot, it's a tough one to take. But I think he could have done better.
Arsenal coming forward with Danny Welbeck. Now to the left-hand side, Oxlade-Chamberlain. 2 of the England men together there. Oxlade-Chamberlain almost found a way into the penalty area. The last line of defence was there. It was Simpson who cleared it away. Now it's back with Simpson again. Right-footed clearance towards the halfway line. The Leicester goal scorer, Okazaki, is bundled over by El Neni. No, he wasn't, says Mike Dean. An Arsenal fan 5 or 6 rows in front of us motions that he felt that Okazaki was diving there. That's one that won't go to the new panel that I'm sure we'll talk a great deal about this season, looking retrospectively at diving. Arsenal have conceded a free kick, a trip on Albrighton, and a slap of the hands between Lacazette and Albrighton. He just clipped his heels, and it's a free kick to Leicester.
Yeah, it was, fortunately for Leicester, the positional play of Albrighton was absolutely perfect. He was just covering almost the centre halves. You realise his left back was out of position, but Lacazette did just catch his heels. Had a laugh and a joke about it afterwards, but they're the ones you hope you get away with. There's an opportunity there for them.
Arsenal 1, Leicester 1, still Celtic 0, Partick 0. By the way, the panel, the retrospective panel on diving, in favour?
I am. I think it's the right move, and hopefully, we'll put thoughts into the players' heads to, just to get it out of the game. It's one of those things now where, regardless of whether you win a penalty for your team, the fact that you're going to be getting banned for, 3 games is an issue. Obviously, the bigger problem is it could have an impact on the team that you're actually playing against, and they're the one that, if they concede the penalty from a dive, are going to get punished. So it'll have no impact on them.
Here's Xhaka playing it through to El Neni, and the Egyptian just rolls a little ball out to Oxlade-Chamberlain on the left-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain back towards El Neni again, halfway inside the Leicester half. Now here's the tall Welbeck, turns all on his right foot, back to the German international Ozil, who gives it away, just trying to find El Neni, and carelessly passed it straight to Leicester. There's an opening goal of the night in the Celtic-Partick game. Ruddy Forsyth.
Yeah, Paddy Thistle 0, Celtic 1 after 25 minutes, and it was Oliver Newsham from midfield, a riveting shot that lashed past Czerny, but Thistle are claiming that it came off Scott Brown, who was in an offside position. Referee doesn't want to know about it. It's 0-1.
Thanks, Roddy. Here we had a thrilling run by Welbeck into the Leicester City penalty area, beat 2 or 3 men, took him to the dead ball line, crossed it over. I think the ball struck Mark Albrighton on the arm inside the penalty area, but he didn't know anything about it, and Leicester cleared it away. But very good from Welbeck.
Very good, but Leicester are just dropping a little bit too deep now. They need to somehow get some pressure on this ball and get themselves higher up the pitch.
Ball bounces into the penalty area for a drive from the left-hand side, which is hit well and blocked behind for a Leicester City corner, for an Arsenal corner from the left flank. After excellent work, here comes the corner in towards the near post. That's cleared away on the half volley by James. Comes out to El Neni, but his shot flies away over the top of the crossbar. And Kolasinac, who scored in the Community Shield with that effort, left-footed from the left side of the penalty area, took a deflection actually off Wes Morgan, and then Schmeichel was able to bundle it round the post.
Yeah, it ended up being a very good save from Schmeichel. He had to react quickly to it. But as I mentioned before, I think that what was giving Leicester some joy in this game was the ball into the channel for Jamie Vardy. They've gone into a bit of a pattern of trying to play their way out of trouble, and it's helped lift this crowd and give the Arsenal team confidence. They need to get back to what they're good at, Leicester.
Arsenal 1, Leicester 1. Leicester trying to create something on the edge of the area. The ball was chested down by Vardy to Mahrez, but not quite into his path. And now Leicester have a throw-in on the right-hand side. Jermaine Genus with us tonight. Darren Fletcher presenting 5 Live Sport. You're back in tandem all season, aren't you, on a Friday night, the two of you, for the Friday Football Social? I hope you have as many guests as you did last season.
That's what we do, John.
Some fantastic guests last season. And some unexpected ones as well. Some names that I thought, well, I never expected to hear them popping up on a Friday night. So all power to you. Every night during the course of the football season, well, most Friday nights, here on 5 Live. Here's Albrighton. I know you need your little breaks. Albrighton plays it through into the full-back position, but Arsenal will play it away after it falls to Bellerin. News from Dave Woods at the Salford-Castleford Super League match.
Where we played 10 minutes is Salford 0, Castleford 6. Zach Hardacre the scorer after sharp work from Paul McShane, head of dummy half. Gales kicked the goal, so Castleford on course already. Salford 0, Castleford 6.
Here's Albrighton and into Vardy, who scores, and Leicester City have turned it around and taken the lead, and it's Jamie Vardy scoring at the Emirates Stadium to make it Arsenal 1, Leicester 2. What about that?
Well, it's this left-hand side again. They're in control of the ball, Arsenal. They're trying to play their way out. It was a poor pass in midfield from Xhaka. Albrighton's onto it in a flash, and it's a fantastic ball from him. They call that the corridor of uncertainty. He whips it in there. Czech don't know whether to come for it. Defenders don't know whether to stick the leg out. The one person who knew exactly what he was doing was Jamie Vardy, and he latched onto it and sticks it in the back of the net for his first goal of the season.
Ruthless Vardy He's not going to miss in that position inside the 6-yard box. And Arsenal are shocked. Big shock. They've had chances. They've scored the opening goal, had further chances, and here they are, yet again, losing at home in their first Premier League match of the season.
I mean, look, they've been the better side, Arsenal. There's no getting away from that. They have had chances, they've not put them away, but they look fragile, especially down this left-hand side. I think any time Leicester have managed to get a cross into the box even, they've not looked comfortable dealing with it. If you're Craig Shakespeare, you're saying get the ball in the box at every opportunity because they're struggling to deal with it.
Here's Oxlade-Chamberlain immediately. Arsenal trying to get back into the game. They were 1-0 up, now they're 2-1 down. And as you said, Jermaine, before the match, a potentially tricky game for Arsenal is proving to be exactly that. Leicester City, who won only 2 matches in the Premier League away from home in the whole of last season as the defending champions. But that was then, and this is now. Bellerin with a throw, and the Leicester City supporters in that corner are jubilant. Holding swings the ball into the edge of the area, but the captain is there, the sturdy captain, Wes Morgan, to volley it away. With half an hour played, the score is Arsenal 1, Leicester City 2. Ozil through the middle. Thought there might have been a little shove on Lacazette by Maguire. Lacazette went down, but no free kick, and Leicester are able to play it away through the middle towards Okazaki. And just as Arsenal feared, they've been hit on the break by Leicester, and Jamie Vardy, who has been such a power and such a force between the rise and rise of Leicester City, has put them in front. Albrighton now to Mahrez, who's on the left-hand side, and Mahrez left-footed cross is beyond Jamie Vardy and runs all the way across and out of play for a throw on the far side.
Mahrez is, he hasn't been in the game as much as he would like, but his touch is absolutely beautiful to watch. Anytime it gets fizzed into him, his touch is never more than a yard away from him. I'm really surprised. I know he's voiced his opinions that he wants to leave, and I'm surprised that somebody's not come and laid down the money to come and take him. He's such a threat.
Throw in for Leicester on the right-hand side. They lead by 2-1. And the ball played by Simpson, who gets it back, is able to cross it towards the angle of the 6-yard box, where Monreal is able to get there first and clear it away for Arsenal. Morgan, still on the right-hand side, is able to work it down that right flank for Mahrez, but the ball runs away from him, and Arsenal concede a throw. Apologies from Kolasinac on his Premier League debut, just passing it straight out for a throw to Leicester. By the way, in the T20 Blast match that we're featuring this evening, the Roses match at Headingley, Yorkshire 182 in their 20 overs. So Lancashire 183 to win. So the potential there for that to be quite a match this evening. And Arsenal bringing the ball away from inside their own half. Holding is blocked by Fuchs. There's space here down the left-hand side for Fuchs to drive on, which is exactly what he's doing. Okazaki and Vardy are in the middle. Here's the cross. Okazaki with the header, and it is narrowly wide of the foot of Czech's left post.
Again, down this left-hand side, I've highlighted the issue on a number of occasions. In fairness to Holding, Bellerin gave him no options. He's just ran away. All Holding can see is his number. He's been put under pressure. He needs to give him some form of support. And once Fuchs picks up that ball, cross into the box, and Okazaki was unlucky not to get that on target.
Ball played back to Czech. Vardy was very quickly in, as he does, and Czech quickly adjusted and was able to pass it away. And the 3 central defender system was all part of Arsenal's recovery at the end of last season, when they lost only one of their last 10 matches in all competitions. Oxlade-Chamberlain now with a bouncing ball, and judged to be fouled by James. Quick free kick, ball played through to Welbeck, and the flag was up extremely quickly against Welbeck. Offside, marginal, didn't look to be much in it. It's a free kick to Leicester.
He shouldn't be offside. He's right along the line. As the ball gets played, he's a yard offside there, and he's the only person that can see all the way along. The opportunity there, just hold your run, you're in on goal.
Arsenal 1, Leicester City 2. Lacazette heading Arsenal in front, but then Okazaki swiftly equalising, and Jamie Vardy from Albrighton's cross on the left-hand side as Arsenal were hit on the counter-attack, and a ruthless finish by Jamie Vardy, who, remember, scored 16 goals in all competitions in the end. Jamie Vardy last season, 13 of them in the Premier League, having scored 26 the season before when he was the Football Writers Footballer of the Year, the Premier League Player of the Season, and if you remember, had the opportunity, Jamie Vardy, to be an Arsenal player, but made the decision to stay with Leicester. Here's Simpson, now to the right-hand side. Simpson continued his run. The ball still with Matty James. No Danny Drinkwater, by the way. There is talk about his future as well, but he's injured at the moment, Danny Drinkwater. So James has his opportunity in central midfield. 10 minutes to go to half-time, and Arsenal winning the ball back from Leicester. Bellerin, a good sliding block by the sturdy Maguire. They've got two sturdy central defenders, Leicester in Maguire and Morgan. There's a nudge from Vardy into holding. The ball deflects out of play off holding, and that's a Leicester throw-in. No free kick.
Yeah, I think he was lucky to get away with that. It seemed a little bit too intentional. You know, he didn't just lean on him, he's really threw his shoulder into holding there, Vardy. But it's some good play from Maguire, I have to say. He was put under pressure by Bellerin. He's read exactly what Bellerin wanted to do and played, you know, a nice ball that Jamie Vardy would like, the one that he can chase and put someone under pressure with. So Leicester back on the front foot.
Throw in, Fuchs about to take it, 10 yards away from the corner flag, a little bit less than that. Packed penalty area. The third Leicester City goal now would be, well, more than interesting. Here's the throw in, headed away by El Neni for Arsenal. James was almost there on the edge of the area, and then Lacazette rather threw himself to the ground. It probably was a foul. Well, it was a foul, but exaggerated reaction from Lacazette. Wins the free kick anyway. On our little screen here, did you see, Jermaine? I know you've taken to standing up now.
Yeah.
But we saw a shot there of Alexis Sanchez. I did. Sitting somewhere up at the Emirates Stadium. He was blowing bubbles. He had a very silky looking white shirt on and a black jacket. And he was sitting next to Albrighton, crossing from the left-hand side with the right foot. But it's gone way beyond the 6-yard box and bounces through for a goal kick. He was sitting next to what I presume would be his partner, who I can't say I've ever seen pictures of before.
Wasn't looking too impressed by what he's seen.
Sanchez or his partner?
Both. Both were not entirely happy with the situation, rightly so.
Long ball downfield for Welbeck to chase, but Morgan was able to hook it away out towards the far side. Arsenal win it back. Here is Xhaka, El Neni. This is resilient stuff from Leicester after Arsenal had the chances. The Oxlade-Chamberlain shot that wasn't far over as James just catches Ozil, and that's a free. Or is that Morgan?
Yeah, it was
Morgan. Free kick for Arsenal in the middle of the Leicester half. Yeah, Welbeck had the chance that was blocked by Maguire. Kolasinac with the shot that was bundled around by Kasper Schmeichel. Free kick to Arsenal. They're 2-1 down. Xhaka hits a shot from distance. It's blocked again on the edge of the penalty area. And the ball is passed by Oxlade-Chamberlain right across the field to the non-existent Bellerin, who was back on the halfway line. So the ball just whizzed straight out of play for a throw-in to Leicester, who lead here at the Emirates by 2-1.
Yeah, and these are the moments that I was talking about, John, when I was talking about, you know, the impact that the fans can have around this stadium. They're going through a tough period here. Arsenal 2-1 down, not playing well, not many passes coming off. They need to stick with them. It's a tough game, this. You know, Leicester have set up in a difficult way. Up top, they're very tricky. And I just feel that the more this Arsenal crowd get on them, the worse it's going to get for them. So yeah, I think they just need to stay positive, and this Arsenal team will react in the right way.
It was 2-1 with less than half an hour played, and there's every prospect, you would have to say, of there being more goals in this match. Remember the 5-2 game that these two played out in the Leicester Championship winning season. Arsenal won both matches against Leicester that season, but finished runners-up to them. Ball in the centre circle. El Neni gets there first. Lacazette goes down again. Maguire with a little shove. No free kick. Schmeichel now clearing long downfield. We've seen this one before. This is for Vardy to chase. Czech's come a long way out of his penalty area into the full-back position, but got there first and volleyed it away. Ball comes back over the top. Okazaki on the chase, but Holding is able to sprint across and volley it out of play. Throw in for Leicester. Danny Simpson halfway inside the Arsenal half. Playing from right to left in this first period. Leicester throw-in taken. It breaks down for Leicester in the Arsenal left-back position. Oxlade-Chamberlain is able to work it to Xhaka, who did well, just delayed, and then plays it into the path of Bellerin, who is off and flying down the right wing. Leicester players trying to get back into position, but they have done. Bellerin plays it to El Neni. Square from him to Xhaka, who has a look over his shoulder. Then works it to Welbeck. Might have taken a touch off referee Reid, I think it did. Welbeck still with it, but Leicester have got all of the pegs back in place in their own box. Oxlade-Chamberlain's little ball into the penalty area. Lacazette is after it. Plays it behind El Neni, who turns, and it's become too ponderous for Arsenal. Bellerin and El Neni exchanging passes. Leicester very happy for this to be the status quo. El Neni sees Vardy, so goes back into the centre circle. Monreal now to Oxlade-Chamberlain, left wing back in this system. Oxlade-Chamberlain on his right foot crossing, took a little deflection towards the back post, and it did get a touch. Possibly just the initial deflection. I'm not sure anybody got a touch at the back post, but it's a corner to Arsenal from the right.
Either way, I think Maguire got his body into a good position to make sure that nobody in an Arsenal shirt was going to get on the end of it.
Corner from the right, just down to our right. Xhaka sees Mesut Ozil just trotting across and just toe pokes it to Ozil, and now Xhaka back to El Neni. El Neni lifts it in towards the back post. Kolasinac is in position there, chests it down, tries to play it across. It was blocked behind by Ndidi. Now they're saying that it struck the arm of the Leicester City midfielder in the penalty area. Kolasinac has gone to referee Reid, who says no, that's nothing more than a corner to Arsenal.
He's a yard away and he's absolutely volleyed it at Ndidi. I mean, he can't move, he can't get out of the way. Those are the ones where you can't give them, as far as I'm concerned.
Corner's taken short again by Arsenal, this time on the left-hand side. Xhaka plays it back to Bellerin. And now Kolasinac again in possession, plays it across, takes a deflection, which carries it further away from the penalty area. But Oxlade-Chamberlain out to the left-hand side. Now El Neni, and then again to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's in the centre circle now. Kolasinac again on the right flank, the left-sided central defender, as he is in this match. Oxlade-Chamberlain now back to Bellerin on the right-hand side. Bellerin, all right foot, back once again to Oxlade-Chamberlain, plays it over the top down into the full-back position to El Neni, who got his head to it and couldn't do anything other than deflect it behind for a Leicester goal kick. And Leicester lead 2-1, Jermaine Genus.
They do. I mean, just going back to the game, that was a horrible ball from Oxlade-Chamberlain. I don't know why El Neni's making that run in the first place. Looking at the Arsenal side, though, I just feel like in midfield they're just a little bit too simple. It's a little bit too, just play what you see, play the easy pass. They've not really asked any questions, of the back four. In midfield, I feel you always need one creator, and I think that Xhaka's not really doing enough from that creative side. He has got it in his game, to be playing those games and asking questions at the back four and getting shots off. But at the minute, he's just very much 5-yard pass, and I think, from Leicester's point of view, it's too easy to play against.
Arsenal subs tonight, as well as Aaron Ramsey, Giroud, Walcott, Iwobi, and then Mustafi and Coquelin. Half-time approaching, 2 minutes plus added time. Leicester with a throw. Be a great time for Leicester to get a third goal. And here is Albrighton, who set up the second. Right-footed cross to the back post. Mahrez was there, and Oxlade-Chamberlain, he looked lost for a moment there, but was able to readjust and just glance-head it behind for a corner.
It's a tough one to figure out whether the three centre halves are not kind of dictating that area enough. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain, your left wing back.
Mahrez takes the corner, short to Albrighton, right-footed ball into the back post. Bellerin sweeps it away, right-footed. Kept it in play actually with the spin, and then challenge from Holding. It didn't go out of play. That's what Maguire is appealing for, but then Maguire nips it back from Holding. And this could become dangerous for Arsenal because Maguire's got it on the left-hand side and takes on El Neni. Never looked likely to beat him. And El Neni was able to deflect it away, but only back to Leicester again. And Morgan gives it to the right, where Albrighton crosses right-footed. And Arsenal still aren't able to get the ball back. And Mahrez now taking it on and just playing it off the defender, Kolasinac, and it's behind for another Leicester corner.
I have to say, I think Mahrez and Albrighton have they've had a very good first half. Albrighton probably the standout performer. The level of quality that he's delivering into the box is causing Arsenal havoc.
Corner then for Leicester, for Mahrez. Here it is, swing it into the near post. Monreal got his head to it to head it right across the box and out of play for a throw into Leicester on the left-hand side. 2-1 to Leicester here at the home of Arsenal. In the first home match, first league match of last season, Arsenal lost at home to Liverpool by 4-3, remember? And then the season before, in similar circumstances, it was West Ham who came and won here. Long throw from Leicester. Check, palms it away, almost underneath the crossbar. And I think, was that a push in there?
He must have given a free kick.
He's given a free kick.
He must
have. A bit of, well, was that a bit of pulling on Kolasinac? I think it probably was. It's a free kick to Arsenal anyway. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Arsenal 1, Leicester 2 on BBC 5 Live and on the BBC Sport app. Make sure you have it if you haven't already for this football season. And Arsenal bring it forward with Kolasinac. Long and forward from him, but straight onto the head of Fuchs, who's able to head it away unchallenged. Comes back to Simpson on the edge of the penalty area. Schmeichel hoists it very, very high, almost out of our sight, with the overhang, the cement overhang above our heads of the middle tier of the Emirates Stadium. And Mike Dean indicating where he wants this free kick to be taken for a shove. Arsenal still not taking it in quite the right position, but Mike Dean's allowed it to go. Craig Shakespeare and Michael Appleton, both in the coaching area, asking the fourth official, Lee Mason, exactly what was going on there, who I think is communicating with the other officials via his earpiece. We haven't mentioned the fact about Michael Appleton being part of the Leicester setup now after he, slightly surprisingly, more than slightly surprisingly, left Oxford to take the role with Leicester City as Craig Shakespeare's assistant. He's watching as Arsenal come forward, but it breaks down on the edge of the penalty area. And now Monreal has to put in the challenge. It's on the left-hand side with Xhaka. Xhaka pulls it across, rather scuffed it. Ozil into the penalty area, shot on the turn by Lacazette. It runs all the way through, and it's scored by Welbeck. Well, Leicester City defenders are looking at one another, but the goal stands, and Welbeck is there to bundle it in, really, not much more than that, to make it Arsenal 2, Leicester 2, almost on the stroke of half-time.
Well, there are moments in the game where, you know, sometimes as a player, you've just got to get stuck in. You really have, and the ball's bouncing around on the edge of the box, and Riyad Mahrez, he flicks his leg at the ball, almost just allows, I think it was Kolasinac, to come and just take the ball off him. And from that, obviously the back four are in trouble. They get it taken off them, and it's in the back of the net next minute. Riyad Mahrez there, he's got to put a strong tackle in, help his team out, get him up the pitch. It's the worst possible time for Leicester, really, in terms of the way that they played, to be conceding that goal.
Terrible goal to concede, really scruffy. It's Kolasinac in the end, as you said, Jermaine, who the two of them were clear in the penalty area, and Kolasinac cleverly played it backwards so that Welbeck would be onside, and he, as I say, bundled it in, and that was the last action of the first half, and that constitutes an escape for Arsenal from the position that they were in. Yep. Arsenal 2, Leicester 2 at half-time. It's interesting, Jermaine, because you turned to me just before half-time and you said you think there might be one or two boos if they go in at 2-1 down, and the people to my left were extremely agitated, the Arsenal supporters, all the way through the first half. That goal on the stroke of half-time has probably saved a few boos. The big worry would be at the defensive end of the pitch, wouldn't it, for Arsenal? They've been all over the place in the first half.
They have. They've got not one person in that back three is dominating the situation. Every time a ball goes into the box, it's very much after you, sir, who's going to head it out? You know, nobody's kind of grabbing the game by the scruff of the neck and going, listen, I'm going to dominate this, I'm going to dictate who needs to be picking up who. There are chances there for Leicester in this game, but yeah, I mean, I think that goal right there has just saved Arsene Wenger's team talk and saved also kind of, not embarrassment, but the whole atmosphere around here would have been totally different.
The guy to my left, who was very vociferous all the way through the first half, and he turned round at 2-2 and said it's rubbish.
Yeah.
If that's all we've got, it's rubbish. And we said before the game started, how long would it take for things to turn? Well, 44 minutes actually, and the 45th minute has actually saved the day. I mean, Piers Morgan's already tweeted #Wenger out, so he's already in mid-season form. It's not taken him long. From a Leicester City standpoint, though, Craig Shakespeare has to be delighted. And I'll tell you what, Jermaine, Jamie Vardy's runs and the balls that he's been receiving were reminiscent of the Leicester team that won the title. I'm not saying they're going to do that again, but they're playing in that manner away from home once more.
They look exactly the same. They really do. I suppose the only element where they don't look as solid is at times, you know, the two goals they've conceded have been a bit soft. The first one especially, you know, Wes Morgan allowing Lacazette, well, trying to win the ball and allowing Lacazette to get that header. But going forward, they've looked brilliant. And like you said, a special mention, Jamie Vardy looks absolutely, you know, looks sharper, as sharp as he did the year they won the league.
But do you think Wenger might be tempted to change it? You talked about needing a bit of creativity in midfield if they're going to really grab a hold of the match.
You know, I've said at the start of this season, one of the big things and big reasons why I think Arsenal will not be contenders, I don't see two midfielders that they have fit on a consistent basis that can dominate a game. You know, today they're coming up against Ndidi and Matty James, who hasn't played since 2015. And you know, don't get me wrong, they've had a lot of the ball, but you wouldn't look at those two and go, wow, they're dominating this game. El Neni and Xhaka, they're causing all kinds of problems. I think it's too simple. I think it can afford to have a creative person in there to you know, give more supply to Lacazette. You know, Lacazette's probably looking at it going, there's no point in me making a run here. I'm not going to get the ball because it's just too sideways, 5 yards. It's too simple for an Arsenal side.
Well, we've all been sat here since the end of May waiting for the Premier League season to start, and for 45 minutes worth of entertainment, that was right up there. That was absolutely superb. John Murray's just said, we've been sat here waiting. Now, I've actually been away, but you know what I mean, John. It's too early in the season to be facetious like that, but it has been fantastic entertainment.
Never too early to be facetious.
So 2-2 at half-time, and you wonder just how important that goal on the stroke of half-time, that scrappy one scored by Danny Welbeck, might turn out to be, in the grand scheme of things tonight, for Arsene Wenger and Arsenal. So half-time here. Let's get the latest in the Partick Thistle versus Celtic match in Scotland from Ronnie Forsyth.
Remember the league here, of course, underway last weekend. This is Celtic's first away trip of the season. They haven't dropped points in one of these games since 2012, and they don't look like doing so here, although it's only an Olivier Neacham goal that separates the sides, and that came about after a beat-on free kick. It was venomous. Thomas Cherney in the Thistle goal turned it round for a corner kick. The Thistle defence appeared to have cleared the flag kick, but it fell to Neacham. He let go a flashing drive from around 30 yards, and it beat Cherney, but the goalkeeper and the Partick Thistle defenders were absolutely adamant that Scott Brown played an illegal part in it. We at first thought they were asking for offside. We've learned that in fact, although Brown was onside, they were claiming it struck his outstretched arm, and then he put his arm out and diverted the ball. So that's controversial, but there was no support from the referee or his assistants, and that's why at half-time it's Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 1.
Thank you, Roddy. So 2-2 here at half-time. They always look after you remarkably well at the Emirates. Scampi and Mushy Peas have arrived in the commentary box. I've still got all of mine. Jermaine Genius is down to the last piece of Scampi, but we are off to Quail Hollow very soon, and Will Perry and Ian Carter will give me the perfect opportunity to get rid of my Scampi and Mushy Peas as well. Let's get the news on 5 Live from Helen Place.
More live Premier League football than anyone else. This is BBC 5 Live.
5 Live news headlines. World leaders have expressed concern at the heightened rhetoric over North Korea's nuclear program as President Trump warned that the US military is locked and loaded. The German Chancellor Angela Merkel says the war of words is not helpful and military action is not the answer. Several members of a traveller family based in Lincolnshire have been convicted of involvement with a modern slavery ring. Vulnerable people were forced to work for the Rooney family for little or no wages while they lived a life of luxury. A man who murdered his brother by setting fire to him as he slept has been jailed for at least 20 years. 27-year-old Blair Logan also tried to kill his brother's girlfriend at the family home near Glasgow on New Year's Day. 15 EU countries, as well as Hong Kong and Switzerland, have received eggs potentially contaminated with insecticide. The European Commission is to hold a meeting with ministers next month after warning countries to stop blaming and shaming each other. And police say a shootout on a beach popular among naturists on the French island of Corsica was caused by a local businessman who disagreed with them being there. One woman was injured. Witnesses say the man had threatened the group to get dressed. When they refused, he allegedly pulled out a rifle and started firing.
5 Live Breakfast.
On 5 Live Breakfast this week, we heard the remarkable story of Robbie Potter. A bolt from the Manchester Arena bomb went straight into his heart, but somehow he survived.
You could actually see the bolts and everything just flying around. It was like raining bolts. And I was saw my girlfriend and just fly, and I felt something poking my chest. I didn't actually go to the floor. My girlfriend did. Realised what was sort of happening and just told us to stay lying down. And then obviously them kids that I jumped in front of. And that's when I got like shrapnel, shoulders, all over my chest, both kneecaps. And my lung up, collapsed.
We're back on Monday morning from 6, but don't forget Saturday and Sunday breakfast too.
5 Live Breakfast. This is 5 Live Sport with Darren Fletcher.
So half-time here at the Emirates. Arsenal 2, Leicester 2, the opening night of the Premier League season here on 5 Live. And I know you're worried about this. I know you're worried about us here at the Emirates Stadium. My Scampionships have gone, and even though Jermaine had a head start, I actually beat him to the bottom of the cup. George, the producer, is busily working his way through his. And I've got a report as well that we were given a cup with the food in. George is the only one with a fork, so he's clearly looked after himself at the other end of the commentary position. Anyway, second half on the way very soon, and let's hope it's half as good as the first half that brought 4 goals, plenty of talking points, and some decent action here at the Emirates. We'll be live at the US PGA Golf Championship in a moment, but first it's the Roses Derby in the T20 tonight. Lancashire against Yorkshire at Headingley, and here's Kevin Howells.
Cracking game. A reminder, 8 days left of the group stage of this competition. A win is needed by both teams to stay in contention. Lancashire require 183 for a victory. They're currently 32 for 2 in the 5th over. 2 wickets in 3 balls for Yorkshire's captain Tim Bresnan. Livingston for 14, Carl Brown for 7. Yorkshire making 182 for 7 from their 20 overs after Adam Lythe's brutal 50, an opening stand of 95 in 8 overs. They lost their way, a rain interruption. The bowling of leg spinner Matt Parkinson, 4 for 23, backed up with some solid catches from the visitors, stemmed the runs, giving Lancashire a chance. The target is 183. They're 32 for 2 in the 5th over.
Thank you, Kevin. The update on the food is the fact that Jermaine has just broken out the sweet chili crackers, which absolutely destroy the Scampionships. He's just taken everything to another level, and he's just pointed out in the box there are 105 calories, so he's really pleased with himself as well. But that is a move and a half that you've just produced there, JJ.
Well, mate, you know, we've got to look after ourselves, haven't we?
Oh, absolutely. Don't pass them down to George, because he didn't give you a fork.
He won't be getting any.
3 Super League games tonight as well. Dave Woods is at Salford versus Castleford at the AJ Bell Stadium. Your food's not as good as ours here, Woodsy.
We've had a pie, it was okay. 5.5 minutes left of the first half. It's Salford 0, Castleford 12. 2 tries for Zach Hardacre, both real sparkling finishes from a stylish fullback. The second of those, an arrowing 30-yard run in a 26-minute. Gale had converted both. So here, Salford 0, Castleford 12. Remember, Cass win. They've more or less won the League Leaders' Shield. Elsewhere, very tight. Wigan 4, Huddersfield 4, and St Helens 6, Hull 8. All the games close to half-time.
Thank you, Dave. Plenty going on tonight at the London Stadium at the World Athletics Championships. Ed Harry can bring us up to date.
Britain's Lorraine Ugan has finished 5th in the women's long jump final here. The gold won for the 4th time by the American Brittany Reese. Chris O'Hare is through to the final of the 1500 metres, 4th in his semi-final. Automatic qualifying for him. Jake Whiteman didn't make it through. And of the 3 women who were involved in the 800 metres semis for Great Britain, one of them might be in the final. It's a might because Lindsay Sharp finished 4th in Caster Semenya's heat. That would have qualified her in one of the fastest losers spot, but there was a coming together with the American athlete in that race. Sharp has been disqualified, but British Athletics are appealing that disqualification, and if successful, she will advance to the final.
Thanks, Ed. We'll be at the World Athletics from about 9:45 tonight from the London Stadium, so stay with us for that after the second half of Arsenal against Leicester City. So before the second half gets underway, let's head back to Quail Hollow. Will Perry watching some big hitters at the US PGA.
Absolutely, Darren. Welcome back to Charlotte, where we've had weather warning signs with storms incoming since you were last with us on 5 Live Sport in North Carolina. The skies have opened for a good 20 minutes or so. The American Kevin Kistner has a 4-shot lead. With me, golf correspondent Ian Carter and former European Tour player Jay Townsend. Rory McIlroy, 10 shots off the lead, Ian, after another 72 for him. But I want to talk about, what happened before the 4 bogeys in 5 holes on the back nine that led him down yesterday as well. That shot on his first hole today, the opening shot. Talk us through it, because you can watch it on the BBC Sport website, but it was stunning.
It was an extraordinary shot. The third shot on that par 5, 10th hole. He sprayed his second shot wide right of the hole. It actually hit the rules official's buggy, which then careered the ball down a service road, and so the ball went a good 70 or 80 yards even further right of the green, and he was just left with an avenue with the path to potentially use for his shot, an avenue of trees, and somehow he conjured, I think he hit probably a 6 or 7 iron, and then just punched the ball low underneath the trees, bounced it off the path up close to the green, and then managed to get up and down for an extraordinary par 5.
It was a brilliant escape from McIlroy. Here's what he made of it.
I didn't expect it to be there once. I mean, I knew it was a little right with the second shot, but a little bit unlucky to get it going down the cart path. And it was really the only option I had. I had a 6 iron. I dropped it in a pretty bad lie, so I couldn't carry it over the cart path. So hit a 6 iron, said, okay, I'll bounce it off the cart path and see where this goes. Luckily, it got out of the bunker and onto the other side, and that could have been a 6 or a 7 quite easily. So to get her away there with a 5, I actually felt pretty good about myself going to the next tee.
Jay Townsend, Kevin Kistner then a 4-shot lead after a second round 67, including an amazing 47-foot eagle putt on his 16th hole from South Carolina, not far away from here, and he says he's loving these quite controversial Bermuda grass.
Well, you have to either have grown up on Bermuda grass or probably live in the South and practice on it a lot to be comfortable. When the PGA Tour plays on this style of grass, normally it's a southern grass, so it would be during the early part of the year. They don't have this much density and length in the rough because of the colder winter conditions. It takes a while for this to get this long and lush. So these guys typically don't see this under tournament conditions. This is very tough, and it takes a certain technique and a lot of confidence to be able to play on and chip out of this type of grass. Kistner, as he said, he's comfortable, he's loving it.
Jay, we're watching Jordan Spieth, 2 over through 7 holes on his second round. Over the last 20 years, 20% of major champions have been 5 or more shots back after the opening round. Would he take a 1 in 5 chance right now?
Well, probably not. I said yesterday, you kind of raised your eyebrows. I didn't think it was going to be a Jordan Spieth week, and it still doesn't look like it. He doesn't look that sharp today early in his second round. For the most part, when Jordan Spieth wins, he's in the top 5 after the first round, and he's kind of a front runner when he wins his major championship. So the odds are against him right now.
Ian, we want to talk about Hideki Matsuyama absolutely rising up that leaderboard.
Yes, I see him as a major challenger here, there's no doubt about it. A winner last Sunday. He's 2 under par for his round today, 3 under for the tournament. He's in a share of 3rd place, just 5 shots back. Paul Casey, I should tell you, has gone back to level par now, and Tommy Fleetwood, he's also on that even par mark. They're the leading Britons.
Very quickly, Jay, are we going to escape this weather? You're the weatherman around here.
Well, we're getting lucky right now, but there's another one coming in an hour and a half, I think, that we might not miss.
10 o'clock, 5 Live Sports Extra, full coverage. Watch the action right now on the BBC Red Button, BBC Sport website and the BBC iPlayer. And then from 11:05, BBC 2 with Ailey Barber.
Thank you, Will. Worrying about the weather over there. There was a storm brewing just before half-time at the Emirates, which was slightly abated by Danny Welbeck's goal on the stroke of half-time. On social media, Jeff says, any Wenger out banners spotted yet? Not so far. Alan says, welcome back, 45 minutes into the new season, John, and Wenger out is trending. Over to you.
Yeah, but presumably that came before the Welbeck goal. It was on the stroke of half-time. Right, second half is underway. 59,387 is the stated crowd figure by Arsenal Football Club for this opening match of the season, with the score Arsenal 2, Leicester 2. Arsenal were 1-0 up. Leicester went 2-1 up And then Danny Welbeck equalising with that bundled goal. Actually, he did slot it away very nicely, Danny Welbeck. It was underneath his feet, quick feet, and was able to slip it past Kasper Schmeichel, but it wasn't a thing of beauty. Throw-in to Leicester in the almost all-blue kit with the white trim. They're playing from left to right, and it's shaping up to be a long throw from out on the left flank. So Mike Dean has marched into the penalty area, right into the 6-yard box, and has walked in amongst all of the Arsenal and Leicester players in there. And he's actually standing behind the dead ball line so he can get a view of this. As the long throw comes in, Maguire tried to head it on. It's Lacazette on the edge of his own penalty area, and then it's volleyed away towards the halfway line where Wes Morgan heads it back, nodded further on by Ndidi. Then the ball bounces near the edge of the Arsenal penalty area and is cleared away by Holding. I'll run you through the teams in a moment. There were no substitutions at half-time, so it's as you were in the second period. Hundreds, probably thousands of people still returning to their seats all around us. We're watching on from the lower tier of the three here at the sparkling Emirates Stadium on the first evening of the 2017-2018 Premier League season. 2-2 the score. Throw in for Leicester. Simpson to take this. Simpson then sees his attempted cross blocked, and Oxlade-Chamberlain will run it away. Welbeck clears it, but only back to Morgan. And Leicester again, it's rather scrappy this. It's very congested. This is all on the Arsenal left wing as Welbeck runs away with it, but James will allow it to run out of play for a throw-in to Leicester. So 2-2 the score here on 5 Live and the BBC Sport app. The Arsenal team tonight, check. Holding, Monreal and Kolasinac are the three central defenders for Arsenal this evening. Then Bellerin and Oxlade-Chamberlain, the wing-backs. El Neni and Xhaka in the middle. Ozil, Welbeck and Lacazette. Lacazette and Welbeck have scored the Arsenal goals. And Leicester, Schmeichel, Simpson, Morgan, Maguire and Fuchs. Mahrez, James and Didi and Albrighton, Okazaki and Vardy. And it's the front two who've scored for Leicester, Okazaki and Vardy. And Jermaine Genius is our expert summariser here tonight, the former England midfielder who'll be very much part of our commentary team on 5 Live and on the BBC right across the season, all the way through into Russia. We'll be back from Russia this time next year, Jermaine.
Yeah, looking forward to that, Chip Dom. The game for, from Arsenal's point of view, they just need to do exactly what they're doing now, get some confidence, in themselves. I felt there's a large portion in that first half where they completely lost faith in themselves, too many stray passes, and when that happens, you don't take the risks that you need to take when you're in the important areas of the park. It all became a little bit too pedestrian, so they're getting a good feel for the ball now, but they need to somehow find a way of moving this Leicester defence around a lot more than they are.
Arsenal in possession with Monreal in the centre circle. Koscielny is suspended, in case you haven't heard that. Mustafi's on the bench. Mertesacker got that bang on the forehead in the Community Shield, so he's not involved. Here is Ozil, puts his foot on the ball, gives it out towards the right-hand side. Played back in by Bellerin. Ozil on his left foot will shoot, but will drag it well wide by probably a couple of yards, and so it's a goal kick to Leicester with almost 4 minutes of the second half played already.
And he's another one of those players that he just needs to do more, Mesut Ozil. You would class him as one of their marquee players, along with Alexis Sanchez. You can imagine Alexis Sanchez in this game trying to do something, trying to make something happen. Mesut Ozil at times just a little bit too happy to let the game pass him by, and the players need him out there today.
Here is Mahrez, who's leaned on by Oxlade-Chamberlain, so it's a free kick just next to where Craig Shakespeare in his grey tracksuit is it evokes a past age, doesn't it, that Craig Shakespeare tracksuit? And it's a free kick to Leicester, just a yard or so onto the pitch, that Simpson will just play back to Mahrez, who chips it into the centre circle. And here's Harry Maguire. Maguire signed for £17 million. There was Tottenham interest, so we discovered this week, but Leicester is choice. Regular football, and he's in the starting lineup. And now here's Okazaki, head bobbing. Ball played down the left-hand side. Leicester with Vardy and Mahrez in the middle, Okazaki as well. The ball's played back and then lifted in deep towards the far post. Mahrez is all on his own here on the left side of the Arsenal defence, and then Mahrez almost inexplicably balloons the ball high over the penalty area, and it almost goes out of play for a throw on the full on the far side.
It's so unlike him. When he's in that situation, he's either trying to cut inside, get onto his left foot to get a shot off, or he can pick somebody out.
Leicester have won it back from Arsenal. It's given away by Bellerin. That's careless. And now cross right-footed from Albright. Oh, danger here! But it was over the top of Mahrez, and the offside flag was up against Mahrez in any case. Free kick, which is taken quickly by Arsenal. You know, I don't think... Have we seen Arsene Wenger in the coaching area tonight? I'm not sure we have. Here's Oxlade-Chamberlain away down the left-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain up against two Leicester men, James and Simpson. Runs his foot over the ball, takes them on again, plays it behind El Neni. And he actually presented it straight to Mahrez, who's showing some of his brilliant ball control skills there in winning a throw-in in his own right-back area.
He looks in form, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He looks like he can go past people at will. You know, I just feel like he's just getting more central almost. You know, if he has the ability to go by people like that, I mean, if he does that and he's running at your back four, it'll just open things up, you know, for Lacazette and Welbeck. But he's obviously got to do a job on this left-hand side for them.
Yeah, he suffers because of his versatility and adaptability and probably general all-round willingness.
Yeah,
and nice guyery. Here is Holding.
Nice guyery.
Out to the right-hand side. Bellerin now to Ozil on the edge of the penalty area. Ozil then works it back. And, poor ball from Xhaka. That was to no one in a red and white shirt. Long one forward for Vardy. Czech's come out. And he gets to it. Czech with a tackle. But 7 or 8 yards outside of his penalty area against Vardy. And he had to make that.
And he's got lucky, I would say, because the one thing Jamie Vardy didn't do, he didn't look. You know, as the ball come through, it was a beautiful pass from Riyad Mahrez, and it's right into the path of Jamie Vardy, but he's thinking, get it out of my feet, and I've got a one-on-one. I mean, Czech was in no man's land. If Jamie Vardy has a look and sees him, he'd have had a completely different plan, so he got away with that one, Petr Cech.
And yet again, that was classic Leicester of the season before last.
But even still, you know they're going to do that. You know Vardy's going to make that run. You know, you got to not allow that. Or either drop off or do something.
Not a long throw for Arsenal to deal with into the penalty area. It bounces down and is walloped away by Xhaka, who is in his own penalty area, and the ball bounces out of play for a throw-in near the halfway line. Yep, this is proving to be a really tricky night for Arsenal here.
It always was going to be. You know, this is a good Leicester side. You know, what they did last year and what they went through last year was not a true reflection of what they are and what they're capable of. And I think, you know, especially from an attacking point of view, they cause a lot of issues just getting that ball into the box on a consistent basis, and the long throws that keep coming in are a nightmare to deal with.
Arsenal 2, Leicester 2. This is BBC 5 Live. The first of our 144 Premier League commentary matches, which is more than any other UK broadcaster. And we've got 4 of them for you this weekend. We will be with Chelsea for the start of their title defence tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock against Burnley at Stamford Bridge. That's our commentary match tomorrow. Mark Chapman presents 5 Live Sport from 12 o'clock. Don't miss it. Chris Waddle and Danny Mills will be with him, and Pat Nevin will be alongside Ian Dennis at Stamford Bridge. Sports Report, 5 o'clock, 6:06 with Jason Mohammed and Robbie Savage, and then further commentaries on Sunday, Newcastle, Tottenham and Manchester United, West Ham, as well as the athletics and the golf over the course of the weekend, and all of the other sport as well. I think it is still Partick 0, Celtic 1, isn't it? I think that is right. Not sure there's been any change in that scoreline. We'll check that for you. It is. That is how it stands in the night's match in the Premiership in Scotland. And Lancashire chasing a very big total to beat Yorkshire in the T20 game at Headingley, needing 183 to win. 2-2 here in the Premier League. No further goals in the second half, but certainly the prospect of more. With still over half an hour to play, Okazaki heads the ball in field. Floodlight shining bright now. Ball cleared away by Holding and then El Neni, but Bellerin is caught in possession, and Didi to the left-hand side. The ball driven across by Fuchs. It's deflected across the penalty area. Cleared only partly away by Kolasinac. Danger because Mahrez is on his right foot and shoots. And Cech got a good enough sight of it to help it over the top with one of his white gloves.
That's more of what you expect from Riyad Mahrez. Picking the ball up on the 18-yard box, working a yard to try and get that shot off. I think it was going over the bar, but Petr Cech had to make sure and gets his fingertips to it to knock it over.
Corner to Leicester, first corner of the second half. Lancashire, by the way, 63 for 3 after 12 overs. Corner that Mahrez is going to take. Said he wanted to leave Leicester at the end of last season, released a statement. That's the way football is these days, statements. Here's Mahrez, plays it in, a glancing header is in, Vardy is there, and Leicester lead again. Jamie Vardy with his second goal of the night, and Arsenal are in a hole again here at the Emirates in the first Premier League match of the season. Arsenal 2, Leicester 3.
But it's pretty simple, John. This Arsenal back three just can't defend crosses. They really can't. I have to say, look, it's a fantastic ball into the box. They've lined up in a formation, obviously, where they're zonal. But Jamie Vardy's just drifted in there. Not one person anywhere near him. He's allowed to have a run and jump at the ball without an Arsenal player laying a hand on him. And it's a fantastic header from Jamie Vardy. Obviously, the delivery from Mahrez was brilliant. But the header just glances it into that far corner. And I have to say they deserve it. They really do. Arsenal they've come out, and only one player for me has shown anything, and that's Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. The rest of them, I mean, they already look defeated. It's a weird atmosphere at the minute.
Again, that's the case here at the Emirates Stadium. And what a start to this Premier League season. A story here right from the very start. And so some of those substitutes. Arsenal have plenty of firepower there with Giroud, Walcott, Iwobi and Ramsey.
That's not the problem, John. The problem is they can't defend at the minute. This could be one of those games that ends up being 5-4. It's going down that way because Arsenal do have the capabilities to score, but every time Leicester get the ball wide with Mahrez and Albrighton, they've got one thought: get it into the box, because this lot don't want to head it. And they're right. It's a perfect tactic from Craig Shakespeare.
So Arsenal facing the prospect of losing at home in their first Premier League match of the season for a third consecutive season. 3-2 Leicester lead. And what a start that would be from the former champions. Ozil now to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who crosses dangerously in. It's headed away though, right on the edge of the 6-yard box. Excellent ball from Oxlade-Chamberlain, but superbly defended this time. We haven't said that very often this evening when talking about either of these two teams. And then Okazaki is just impeded, and it's a free kick to Leicester inside their own half. So 2-goal Jamie Vardy is on a hat-trick. Scored a hat-trick, remember, against Manchester City last season. And even in the depths of their troubles last season at times, they were still capable of producing results like that, and did so.
Well, he went through a seriously dry spell last year, Jamie Vardy. He stuck at the task. He eventually got himself back in the goals, but what a start to the season for him.
Yeah, 2 goals. And Schmeichel takes this free kick, sort of raking ball downfield, but onto the chest of Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's able to curl it forward down the left wing towards Welbeck, who does well to keep it in. Lacazette is in the middle. Ozil's making a run. Still Welbeck, lays it back to the edge of the area. Oxlade-Chamberlain on his right foot shoots, saved by Schmeichel. And then the offside flag is up against Lacazette, whose shot was saved by Schmeichel again. In any case, a double save. But had he scored, it would not have stood.
Again, though, all came through Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. I mean, he's received the ball basically at left back. I think Christian Fuchs is trying to play a ball over to Riyad Mahrez. He's read that, took it down on his chest. He's driving at players. Brilliant ball out wide to Danny Welbeck, who feeds it back to him. And a great strike in on goal. He is literally the only player out there doing anything in an Arsenal shirt right now, from a creative point of view especially.
Half an hour to play, slightly over. Arsenal 2, Leicester 3. Arsenal did lead. If you've just joined us on 5 Live, an early goal from Lacazette, the first goal of this Premier League season, coming very early over the course of the last 25 years. I'm reliably informed by our colleagues on the website it's the 3rd time that a goal has been scored in the 2nd minute of the opening Premier League match of the season. I'll leave you to ponder on who the other two may have been who scored it, because on the BBC website you can follow the text on our live pages, the stats, the analysis, and the social media as well. If you want to have a guess at them, Jermaine, you're very welcome to do that.
Sorry, Joe, I didn't hear what you said, to be honest with you.
Who has also scored the first Premier League goal of a season in the 2nd minute. You can ponder on that for a while, you'll never get it. Here's Ozil, now through the middle, towards Lacazette. Challenge from Ndidi, and Leicester are up again, and Okazaki's playing one of those balls for Vardy, and this time Monreal was able to leap and cut it out. danger again lurking so often.
It's a dream for Jamie Vardy out there. I mean, Arsenal play such a high line. There's so much space for him to run into. At some point, one of them has to say, look, we're struggling with this pace here. We need to drop off a yard.
El Neni to Lacazette, who got it all wrong, but El Neni very nearly won it back, and then it's dug away to safety for Leicester on the far side and out of play as Arsenal play from right to left, away from the clock end, which was transported from Highbury, and now Arsenal playing the ball back towards Monreal, who's going to roll it out to Kolasinac, who had a chance to score in the first half. He looks as though he's going to be a defender who's very willing to get forward. The Bosnia and Herzegovina World Cup player Kolasinac, free signing he was, free transfer from Schalke. Now here's Ozil again on the left hand side. Ozil just drifts infield. There's lots of movement there. Uses Welbeck inside the box on the left hand side. Welbeck still in possession, weaving one way and the other, then back to El Neni. A touch from Welbeck, he slips it through. Bellerin's in. Schmeichel makes a blocking save. He was very quickly out there, the Leicester goalkeeper.
It's really good play all round, that is. That's more of Arsenal that we're used to. Intricate passes around the box, and Bellerin timed his run to perfection, but Schmeichel did brilliantly. Gets himself off his line, spreads himself, and takes one exactly where it hurts. But it's exactly what you got to do for your team.
Amidships, Arsenal 2, Leicester 3, 5 live. As Monreal heading the ball away on the edge of his own penalty area, and now Neni tidies up with a header back towards Petr Cech. So Arsenal come again. Still, we have not seen, we can see the top of Arsene Wenger's head sitting next to Steve Bold. Jens Lehmann must be down there as well. Is that him 2 seats to his right? Looks like him, doesn't it? New member of the Arsenal first team coaching staff, Jens Lehmann, who has an opinion or two. Oxlade-Chamberlain crossing from the left hand side, and it's blocked behind by Simpson for an Arsenal corner. Just beginning to move, Arsenal, you feel here, feeling the urgency as much as anything else. Xhaka is going to take this, so let's keep an eye on Kolasinac, who's really caused problems. Here it is, swept across, missed by Welbeck, and then missed by Monreal as well. I'm not sure if that took a Leicester touch. In any case, it's kept in by Bellerin on the far side, who actually ran it out of play as he got that touch, so it's a throw into Leicester in their own left back area. And we're well into the last half hour of the match now, with Leicester leading by 3 goals to 2. And if it stays like this, and I'm not very confident that it will, a lot of the old questions are going to be asked to Arsene Wenger right at the start of this new season, after they finished 5th last season, their lowest finishing position under Arsene Wenger's management. And Didi, high ball towards the right hand side, towards Mahrez. Mahrez gets it back again and tries to play it through the middle, but Monreal was in position to cut it out. Xhaka, and then Ozil, back to Xhaka, put one of his yellow boots on the ball, but then delayed. You can hear the groans from the crowd. They wanted it forward, and they wanted it forward quickly. He's played it out to Bellerin on the right hand side. Now El Neni, and then Holding back towards Kolasinac. Another strongly built individual, Kolasinac, the bearded new Arsenal defender. Ozil drifts around Ndidi, who gets a foot in, but deflected straight out of play for a throw into Arsenal down the left hand side.
Yeah, I think you saw earlier, John, the opportunity that Xhaka had to play the ball to Lacazette as a striker. When that ball doesn't come, you're looking for that relationship between you and your midfielder to almost like lock eyes and go, exactly what I want. And he passed on 2 opportunities to put the ball over the top to him.
Arsenal about to make a double change. Ramsey and Giroud coming on. Arsene Wenger walks into the coaching area now as this latest Arsenal move comes to nothing. And it's a goal kick. So Ramsey, who did have a little bit of a problem, an injury problem, which is why he missed the Community Shield last weekend, problem with his calf. Giroud is also going to come on, so I think it's going to be a double change. Ramsey's only there at the moment. Next time the ball goes out of play, Schmeichel with this goal kick then, which is headed out of play by Bellerin, so we should see the change now.
Lee Mason, the fourth official, is ready with his flashing board. And are we going to see the change or not? And Leicester are also about to make a change. Iheanacho, is it?
He looks like Iheanacho.
Yeah, that was a good spot because we can only see the bottom of his tracksuit at the moment.
I
and
saw
now
him
he stands up
ages ago, John.
Well, no. That's the insight you get the big bucks for.
Big bucks?
Here's Bellerin. Clears the ball from his right back position. Maguire heads it forward. Arsenal headed away again. Albrighton on the left-hand side. So we're about to see the Premier League debut for Kelechi Iheanacho, but not before Ramsey and Giroud come on. So who's coming off? Let's have some of that insight.
It's definitely going to be one of the midfielders. It has to be, because there's been no creativity in there. I called it a while ago. And now and then, in fairness to him, that's what he does. He gets the ball and he passes it simple. He's not done anything wrong today. That's exactly why Arsene Wenger played him. He wants him just to pass it, nice and easy. It looks like there's going to be a complete change of formation, though.
It's Holding, the central defender, who's coming off, and Giroud is coming on. So, out goes the back three.
Well, yeah, and I'm guessing that Oxlade-Chamberlain's probably going to go to right back. Bellerin looks like he's going to left back, and Monreal and Kolesniak are going to be his centre halves, which, we're about to find out what happens there, but it don't sound too secure to me.
It sounds, that lineup sounds distinctly Heath Robinson. Here's Okazaki on the edge of the area. Monreal goes in with the challenge, and then a foul in centre field on Ramsey. So Oxlade-Chamberlain now at right back, and Bellerin at left back. Ball played forward by Xhaka, headed away, comes out to Ozil. Arsenal 3-2 down here. Now Lacazette crossing from the left-hand side, and it's headed down and in. Oh, and wide by Ramsey. Well, I thought he was almost certain to score with that. He threw himself at it, and it was wide of the post.
I don't know how he hasn't scored. He's done everything right. He's got himself in between ball and the man. In fairness, in the end, he's kind of just took his eye off the ball and just kind of ran into it, and it's hit the outside of his head and gone wide of the post, and he's down hurt. He's took a heavy blow in the ribs. I think he's probably just winded.
And Lacazette's now come to the left-hand side with Giroud as the spearhead.
Yeah, look, in fairness to Arsene Wenger, he needs goals. He's realised, look, we're not going to win this game by playing playing brilliantly at the back and playing tight. We need to go and score more goals than Leicester. It's as simple as that. And he's got Ozil, Lacazette, Giroud, Welbeck, Ramsey. He's got goals on the pitch. He's got options. So I think it could end up being one of those 4-3, 4-4, 5-4 type of games.
Arsenal 2, Leicester City 3. We've had goals here. Dave Woods has news, I'm guessing, of tries.
Yep, 5 minutes into the second half. Salford 4, Castleford 12. Salford back in it. Manu Batabai, a fingertip touch on the ball, according to the video referee, to score in the left-hand corner. So it's Salford 4, Castleford 12.
Thanks, Dave. Arsenal 2, Leicester 3. With, quarter of the match to play. We're into the last quarter of this contest. Kelechi Iheanacho is still receiving instructions from Craig Shakespeare, who's watching his team winning at the Emirates. No Leicester team has won away against Arsenal since 1973. Bellerin from left back now, playing it to Lacazette, who crosses from the left-hand side, took a deflection. Xhaka hits the shot, and it bounced into the ground, and it was a bouncing sort of affair that Schmeichel got a good sight of and was able to go quickly down to his left and clutch the ball into his Danish chest.
I think Leicester are looking at making another change as well. Craig Shakespeare just called for Amati.
The German journalist Rafa Honigstein, who we often hear on 5 Live, has just reported on social media that Mertesacker not being involved in this match was nothing to do with the fact that he took that bang on the head and that received that cut and stitches in the Community Shield, which is a strange one. Not in the 18 at all. So that's a question for Monsieur Wenger after the game. Schmeichel launching a ball downfield, and Mahrez with Bellerin tight to him could only chest the ball out of play. Looks as though it might be Daniel Amati to come on before Iheanacho.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be a double change.
There was a pass which broke the line of the midfield into Mesut Ozil, who's kind of playing just behind Olivier Giroud, and I'm guessing Amati's job is get on Mesut Ozil and don't let him get on the ball I'm pretty sure he'll look to pack out that midfield.
Long ball forward to Lacazette, who takes it down brilliantly and then plays it across. Shot from Ozil with a side-footed effort, and it was easily blocked by Leicester inside the penalty area. We've seen that sort of effort from Ozil before, where he just tries to steer it goalwards as Bellerin tidies up ahead of Vardy and plays it back to Petr Cech. Still 3-2 to Leicester here at the Emirates on Premier League 17-18 opening night. And Arsenal striving to get back into this match. Here is Ozil, who plays it behind Lacazette, straight out of play, and now the Leicester change. So Arsene Wenger has already made a double change. It's going to be Daniel Amati, the Ghanaian international, who is going to replace Shinji Okazaki. So Okazaki, who scored Leicester's first goal of this Premier League season tonight to make it 1-1 very early on in the game, is replaced by Amati, who's sending out the instructions. And it looks as though he's saying to Ndidi, Jermaine, to sit in front of the back four on Ozil.
Well, Ozil's, all of a sudden he started to get on the ball and pick up the ball in dangerous areas, essentially where he likes to be. So yeah, the job of Ndidi will be to stop any supply into Mesut Ozil, who's obviously flirting with the idea of going with Iniacho for Okazaki, but Arsenal are throwing everything at them now, and he's gone with the more safe option, I would say, and probably the right one.
The score: Arsenal 2, Leicester 3. And this is starting this Premier League season with a real bang. Ozil wins a throw-in near the halfway line. So another thing that struck me tonight, because we sit on the dressing room side of the ground, it's like permanent motion in the Leicester coaching area between Craig Shakespeare, Michael Appleton, who's often out talking, lots of movement. And to contrast that with Arsenal, I don't know whether it actually amounts to a row of beans or not, but just feels like there's nothing happening over there.
Well, they obviously react off what the manager wants. There's no way Steve Bold can be up there.
As Kolasinac slides in and wins the ball on the halfway line, and Kolasinac's taking it on, but then his attempt to slip it through to Giroud is cut out by Wes Morgan. Throw-in to Arsenal. Arsenal are going to make that final change. Theo Walcott is going to come on as well. Lacazette just uses a side of his foot to play it out to Xhaka on the left-hand side. Ozil now taking on a flick by Lacazette. Ozil plays it back outside the penalty area to Bellerin. Now it's across to Ramsey. Ramsey to the right-hand side to Oxlade-Chamberlain. He drives it across from an angle beyond the far post and behind for what is given as a Leicester, as an Arsenal corner. It must have taken a Leicester touch in there off someone. And the television shows us that it flicked Christian Fuchs's heel. Correct decision. Play back underway after Arsenal take a quick corner. Shot from Oxlade-Chamberlain from distance is blocked. Leicester have got everyone back defending that, but very quickly Vardy trots towards the halfway line. He's there for the counter-attack should it be needed. Oxlade-Chamberlain across, Ozil at the back post, but snatched at it and drove it wide of the near post as he looked at it, and well wide actually.
I mean, for a player of his calibre, a ball bouncing on the half volley on his left foot, he has to do better than that. He really does. He's got to get that back, going back across goal as a minimum, John. I mean, hitting it towards the near post is just, it's exactly what Leicester needed. It's took the pressure off, and you expect more from Mesut Ozil, the quality that he possesses in that left foot.
Well, it had to be one of those forward players leaving the field for Theo Walcott, and it's Danny Welbeck. So how are we going to see Arsenal play this? I wondered if he would play Walcott up front with Giroud, but Walcott's gone across to the right-hand side to play there. So, Theo Walcott.
They've almost gone to that, the 4-2-3-1 formation that they're used to play, with Giroud leading the line, Ozil behind him, Lacazette on the left, and Walcott will be off the right of that. And it'll be Aaron Ramsey's job just to play far more in advance of Granit Xhaka to put some pressure on them.
Arsenal 2, Leicester City 3. Jermaine Genius with us here at the Emirates. The World Athletics continues over on 5 Live Sports Extra. Bellerin sprinting away down the left-hand side was challenged, so the momentum of the attack has slowed there, and Ozil is then dispossessed, and then Mahrez is fouled from behind by Kolasinac, and it's a free kick to Leicester halfway inside their own half.
Yeah, it's clever from Riyad Mahrez. He knew exactly what Kolasinac was going to do. He just allowed him to try and win the ball, got his body in the way and bought a bit of time and relieved some pressure for his back four.
So we will be straight to the athletics once we've wrapped everything up here. Sonia McLaughlin standing by, and listen out for 9:50, the women's 200 metres final. Dina Asher-Smith is going in that. You'll hear commentary with Mike Costello and Alison Kirbishley, Darren Campbell, who've been superb to listen to all week. That's round about 9:50, and the golf, the USPGA golf, you will hear commentary on that on 5 Live Sports Extra tonight after the athletics, and you can watch it on BBC television via the red button. The US PGA Golf, a 72 for Rory McIlroy today. He's 2 over par. Here's Chaka, who plays it way beyond anyone in a red and white shirt. His shirt, actually, Chaka, is dark red because of the perspiration that he's put in tonight on this mild evening.
He's been poor tonight, Granit Xhaka, I think. I don't think he's followed on from the form that he's shown towards the end of the season, and I thought he was good in the Community Shield as well, and he's not at his best of nights, I have to say. Too many stray passes, just like the one we've just seen.
We're into the last 15 minutes at the Emirates Stadium. It's 3-2 to Leicester here. At a similar stage of the match in the Partick-Celtic game, Ruddy Forsyth.
Left to play as the dust gathers over Firhill, but not on what we thought might be a procession for Celtic. It's still only 1-0. That Olivier Nichum goal in the first half separating the sides, but Chris Doolan came so close and should have equalised when he met an Erskine cross free on the penalty spot, but placed it on the roof of the net. So at the moment, Partick Thistle 0, Celtic 1.
Celtic involved in Champions League playoff next week, just like Liverpool. You'll hear that match on 5 Live from Germany on Tuesday night, the Hoffenheim-Liverpool game, as Kolasinac plays the ball through, but that's straight into the path of Simpson, who's able to turn and clear it over the halfway line. So Arsenal have to start again with really, 12 minutes left, 12 and a half minutes, plus added time to play. Arsenal scored the equaliser at the end of the first half, Danny Welbeck, right at the end of the second minute of added time. In fact, I have a feeling it was into the third minute of added time before Welbeck scored it. Arsenal coming again, looking for another late-ish equaliser. Ball though with Leicester, but it's won back from James by Lacazette. Now Bellerin and Ozil all on the Arsenal left. Back into the central area to Xhaka, who plays it through to Lacazette. Took it down brilliantly onto his left foot. Back onto his right. Lacazette outside the box to Xhaka, who's on his right foot but lays it across to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who slices his shot from 25 yards well wide of the goal. And Arsene Wenger turns away, sticks his hands quickly in his pockets and sits back on his red chair, and then stands up again and comes marching forward, looking at Lee Mason as if to say, come on, Leicester are wasting time here. But the official should be across that, should be. Arsenal 2, Leicester 3. Vardy on a hat-trick, heads it out towards Albrighton. Albrighton loses it to Oxlade-Chamberlain, who's running it away up the right-hand side, runs away from Amati, who came back in with a challenge, actually, good challenge, put it out of play. Huge cheer from the Foxes fans over in the corner of the Emirates Stadium. Reminder these of the times of the season before last for Leicester City. Although, of course, it wasn't all doom and gloom last season, that Champions League run to the quarter-finals. Leicester bringing it away again, giving it to Vardy, and Vardy is running up Monreal, and Kolasinac is coming across, and Vardy trying to win a corner, I think, off one of them, but isn't able to get a deflection, and it rolls behind for a goal kick to Arsenal. And we are going to see that change now that the Leicester City fans will have been waiting to see, because Iheanacho, their new £25 million signing, has peeled off his white tracksuit top as Arsenal come forward again, but Maguire was in the right position to block that cross from Walcott. Comes out for Arsenal. And now to Ozil on the left-hand side. Ozil's cross towards the penalty spot, but it was intercepted by Ndidi. Headed further away by Simpson. Arsenal again. Ozil back to Xhaka. Xhaka's ball to the edge of the area. It's cleared away. Ndidi was there again. And now Arsenal taking up possession once more as we move into the last 10 minutes of this match, with Leicester City leading by 3-2. Drama right from the start of this Premier League season. Now Xhaka on his left foot is going to shoot from distance. Took a deflection and that carried it wide, and it was off a Leicester man. Corner Arsenal.
When he strikes, this is a good strike from Granit Xhaka. Takes a deflection. Schmeichel looked worried for half a second, but ended up going wide and out for a corner.
Corner taken by Xhaka. It's a high one, this one, deep one towards the back post. Ramsey got his head to it, but under pressure from a couple of Leicester men, could only head it up and well wide of the far post. So a hush falls on the Emirates Stadium with less than 10 minutes to play. And it is Matty James who has played in there his first Premier League match since 2015 after the knee injury that he had, which caused him to miss the whole of Leicester's championship winning season. But with Drinkwater out injured, Iborra, another of the new signings, injured, James has started the season, and he's been tidy enough in there for Leicester tonight.
Yeah, he has. You know, it's really tough when you come to the Emirates to completely dictate the game, but he's put himself about. He's plugged a few gaps, and he'll be delighted with his night's work.
So Iheanacho is on for his Premier League debut for his new club, Leicester City. A familiar role, coming on as a substitute from his Manchester City days, but as I mentioned, a couple of injuries in the pre-season resulted in him being on the bench tonight. But an Arsenal corner, Ozil to take it, left-footed, outswinger towards the penalty spot. It's headed away by Ndidi, comes out to Xhaka with the outside of his boot, plays it into the penalty area, and it's worked across and in! And Aaron Ramsey is there to sweep in the equaliser. With 7 minutes to play, Arsenal have made it 3-3. And it's the man who scored the winning goal in the FA Cup final. A substitute tonight who took it extremely well from an angle and levelled it up again.
Well, I think it's Ndidi that just switches off as the ball's cleared. You know, all the Leicester players kind of start to drift towards the 18-yard box without checking what else is going on, and it ended up being a beautiful ball the outside of his boot from Granit Xhaka to pick out Aaron Ramsey. And I mean, you can't help but think that Arsenal will go on and win this game now.
So the goal coming in the 83rd minute, the equaliser at 3-3. What a match it's been to start the Premier League season for us here on 5 Live. And here is Ozil now away from Ndidi. And now Arsenal are beginning to think about possibly winning this game. That would be so hard to bear for Leicester. Oxlade-Chamberlain swirling one in from the right. Morgan was underneath it. What a ball that was from Oxlade-Chamberlain. Tough to defend, but Morgan was up to it. Comes back to Ozil once again. Everyone apart from Vardy behind the ball. There is always that danger, though, with Vardy in the mood that he's been tonight, that Leicester could get another one themselves on the counter-attack. Here's Ozil on the left flank. Ozil's ball in. Morgan stoops onto his knees, heads it down, and Simpson, with that white cast on his left hand, clears it away towards the halfway line.
Yeah, Leicester can't get hold of the ball anymore. It's just wave and wave of attack from Arsenal. If it continues like this, they'll definitely get that winner. I mean, Leicester need to somehow just stop the flow of this game.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, the first match of last season here in the Premier League finished 4-3 to Liverpool. As Ramsey plays it through, it's angled back to Lacazette. Lacazette could be in, still going, shoots, and it's saved by Schmeichel. Wow, brilliant footwork from the club record signing Lacazette. And in the end, Schmeichel had to make that save, throwing his arm up.
Well, it was all round good play, good link up between Giroud and Lacazette. Lovely ball from Ramsey to find Giroud.
Corner. Here it is for Arsenal, and it is headed off the crossbar. Was it over the line? Was it over the line from Giroud? It was! Giroud has scored an Arsenal lead by 4-3. That is so tough to take for Leicester City, but Arsenal have dug themselves out of a right pickle in this opening Premier League game of the season, and Giroud is absolutely mobbed down in the corner. Arsenal 4, Leicester 3.
Well, fair play to them. You have to say they've shown real character in the last 20 minutes. Arsene Wenger obviously decided enough's enough. Let's go out here and try and score as many goals as we possibly can. He's put them all on the pitch. It's a brilliant header from Giroud, I have to say. He's under so much pressure. Great header into the top corner, but you know, this is all about those character and digging themselves out of a hole. They've not played well at all, but going forward they've looked strong in the last 20 minutes. Leicester, they have to be disappointed, but they've only got themselves to blame. They've allowed this to happen, and you have to stop it. When it starts to go against you at the Emirates, you have to start making fouls. You have to break up the pattern of the play, and they've not done that. They've allowed this to happen, and that's why they're losing.
In the 83rd minute, Arsenal were 3-2 down. 2 goals in 2 minutes from Ramsey and Giroud, and they're singing his name as though he's always been their favourite, never any doubt about it. The whole of the Arsenal support, Olivier Giroud. There's no question it was over the line, by the way. In off the crossbar, it bounced well behind the line. That was an easy one for the goal line technology. Although every decision is an easy one for the goal line technology. Throw into Leicester. Might not be finished yet. What about a 4-4 to start the season? Long throw. Checkmates the catch. Above Harry Maguire and his own man as well. And now Damari Gray is going to come on for Leicester. What an absolute sickener for Craig Shakespeare and the Leicester City supporters. But it looks as though Arsenal have dug out 3 points in this opening match, but you know, whether it to what extent it reinforces any belief that they might be able to go on and challenge for the league title this season, I think is highly questionable. As Ramsey has shrugged off the ball, and it's another free kick to Arsenal in the middle of the Leicester half. So Damari Gray, this will be the final change of the match. It's Mark Albrighton, who has been quite quiet actually in the second half, replaced by Damari Gray, the England under-21 international, who did very well for Adi Boothroyd's under-21s as they reached the semi-finals. Indeed, Gray scored in the semi-final, remember, in Poland in the tournament. Arsenal 4, Leicester 3. It's been quite a start to the season here. The World Athletics is over on Sports Extra. It will continue on 5 Live just as soon as we've wrapped everything up, which may take a little while with Darren Fletcher at the end of this game. Lots to talk about right from the start, as Giroud, the goal hero, chests it down, and Arsenal have it back in their own half. Different approach now. Arsenal looking just to keep the ball with 87, 88 minutes on the clock now. Giroud chests it down to Ozil. Ozil back to Ramsey. So the 2 of the substitutes have scored, Ramsey and Giroud. They came on together as a double change for Arsene Wenger. Genius change by the manager with his double substitution, both of them scoring. And now he is there in the edge of his coaching area, Arsene Wenger, as the rain now begins to fall. This August weather is inexplicable. Here is Mahrez, who's tripped by Xhaka, tries to help him to his feet, thinking that he might be in danger of getting his first yellow card, first of many of the season, Xhaka, but no yellow card, just a free kick. In fact, we haven't had a single booking in this game here tonight. Mahrez with the free kick, then it's a long diagonal one to the edge of the area. Maguire heads it on, headed away by Monreal for Arsenal. There was danger there. 2 Leicester players were in position, Amati and Vardy. Leicester playing it, well, the intention was to play it to Damari Gray, but it took a touch off Walcott, out of play for a throw-in to Leicester. We're in the 90th minute now at the Emirates on 5 Live, in the first match of this Premier League season, which now appears as though it's going to be won by Arsenal. Long ball downfield. Schmeichel has come almost to the halfway line and takes a touch. It's a throw-in. Schmeichel's completely out of position. Ozil went for goal, sliced his attempt badly. It landed at the feet of Lacazette. Schmeichel's back in position, but the whistle's gone before Xhaka shot for goal for 30 yards and missed the target in any case. And that was almost comedic, that little period of play. Schmeichel, who could have been embarrassed. But Leicester have got to send everyone forward now. Only seconds left of the 90 minutes, so let's have a look and see what Lee Mason is going to show us. 5 minutes of added time.
Lots and lots of time for 4-4. Ball forward into the Arsenal penalty area. Cech comes out and gathers it at the feet. The bouncing ball of Jamie Vardy. Jermaine Genus.
Well, it's manic, and I think Arsenal now will see what they're made of when the game's like this, because there are going to be plenty of balls coming into the box, you know, for them to deal with, and it's obviously been their Achilles heel tonight. He's dealing with crosses, dealing with long throws. They've really struggled at times, so it's going to be interesting to see this next 5 minutes. It's going to be very nervy for them.
And remember, you can react right now on the BBC Sport website, on the live text pages, bbc.co.uk/football. All the stats will be on there in our analysis, and all of that lovely social media that I don't know, we all enjoy so much. Arsenal leading Leicester by 4-3. Let's get an update from Dave Woods from the Super League.
Salford 4, it's Castleford 18, a Paul McShane score. We might have another one as well. The video referee's looking at one for McVeigh. I think they're going to give this, but it's Salford 4, Castleford 18. Castle on the way to a win here.
Offside flag against Theo Walcott inside the penalty area, just when it looked as though Arsenal might be opening it up for 5-3, but it remains 4-3 to Arsene Wenger's team.
I have to say, Giroud has completely changed his game since he's come on. I was talking earlier about, you know, the different options that it gives Arsene Wenger, the ability to go longer, crosses into the box. It didn't look dangerous from across all night, and finally the score from a corner. So
it's a great asset to have.
It is,
if he's happy to play this role. But the thing is, you know, Giroud is now 30 years old, and but what a good header it was against Wes Morgan as well.
Yeah,
to
great header,
outstrength him and head it in off the underside of the crossbar. It bounced into the goal and bounced out, but the goal stood. Final whistle in the Partick-Celtic match, and Celtic have won by just the 1-0. Not been like that here. 7 goals to start this Premier League season in the Friday night opener. The first time we've ever had one of those in what is now the 119th season of top flight football in England. And Leicester might not be finished yet. Ball played over the top for Vardy, who was on the shoulder of Monreal, who got his head to it. Leicester come again. Inacho slips it forward. Vardy on the chase, but Monreal comes across and is able to play it away left-footed. We've already had 2.5 minutes of the 5 of added time, and Leicester are having a go here. Schmeichel, they sent lots of bodies forward. They have to, 4-3 down. Mahrez wins a header. Vardy tried to lay it off. What a turn! It's the turn from Kolasinac. Plays it forward for Ozil, who is going to be given in, but he was in an offside position. Well, what about that from Sead Kolasinac? Zinedine Zidane.
It was lovely,
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really nice. But,
scores goals, defends.
Yeah, it does look like a good signing, I have to say. It looks very comfortable on the ball.
Schmeichel launches one high, right down the middle. It's headed on into the Arsenal penalty area, but Kolasinac is there again to volley it away. And a poor touch by Simpson, who is looking to hook it back in, but sliced it straight out of play. And we've had 3.5 minutes of the 5 of added time. Bellerin takes a throw deep inside his own half, whacked over the halfway line by Kolasinac, and then Morgan piles into Giroud, fouled him, and it's a free kick to Arsenal. And Giroud, and it is a yellow card for Morgan, who says, I got the ball, Morgan, but he got a fair chunk of French leg as well. And Giroud, obviously it's an opportunity here, which is being taken by Giroud, who may be hurt, but it's certainly wasting a few seconds as well.
Yeah, and rightly so. You know, they've managed to get themselves back into the game. There's no rush. Give your team the opportunity to have a breather, have a little chat to each other, get the shape right, make sure you're organised, so there's no surprises. That's exactly what he's doing.
Television showing pictures of a move where Ozil handballed. Now, was that in the build-up to one of those Arsenal goals?
Yeah, I think it was,
And it was a deliberate handball by Ozil, no question about it. It wasn't picked up by the officials. Might be more on that later. Free kick then, Arsenal finally take it. We've had almost the 5 minutes now, and the ball's still in the Leicester penalty area. Schmeichel, it's given back to him by Maguire. Headed forward. Ramsey could be in to shoot, but he does, and it dips well wide, and probably high as well of the goal.
Last chance, last attack for Leicester, who led in this game. Leicester by 2 goals to 1 and by 3-2. But the final whistle goes on the first match of this Premier League season. And what a match it's been to start the Premier League rolling. Arsenal beating Leicester by 4 goals to 3. Jermaine Genius.
And that's the most important thing, you know, from Arsenal's perspective. Yes, it wasn't their finest display. It was a tricky game for them, I thought, in the first place, but they've dug deep. They really have. They've shown character in this game. They went through large periods not playing very well, crowd not happy at all. But in the end, they've got what mattered. They've got the win. And I think it was so important, not just for Arsene Wenger, but, you know, the whole atmosphere surrounding Arsenal and the Emirates. It was so important for them to get off to a win. So those players will draw a lot of confidence, you know, from today's game.
Lacazette, Welbeck, Ramsey and Giroud, the Arsenal scorers. Vardy scored twice for Leicester after Okazaki made it 1-1. And the final score here at a transformed Emirates is Arsenal 4, Leicester 3. Darren Fletcher.
Well, I've just put on social media myself that I'd take another 9.5 months of that. That was fantastic entertainment for 90 odd minutes. There's been so much social media reaction to it. Steve says Giroud is amazing. He could have been miffed at being on the bench, but he has desire. Jack says Chamberlain has been outstanding. Arsenal could be very dangerous when they get a defence. And that might be the key point, though, Jack. John says Arsenal are definitely missing centre-backs. Gabby says, what a way to kick off the Premier League. Great game. Couldn't agree more, Gabby. Scarlett, yep, same old Arsenal. Send in Giroud to save the day. He's Superman. Utterly super. Daniel says the defending in this game has been embarrassing from both sides. Jerry says English Premier League still the greatest for excitement. And Andrew says Arsenal couldn't defend with 3 centre-backs and they only have 2 on now. Well, in actual fact, they didn't, did they? They had 3 full-backs and 1 centre-back because Nacho Monreal is a natural left-back. But what do you make of that, Jermaine? If you try and boil it down, and I know you've not an awful lot of time to think about it, but if you're Arsene Wenger or an Arsenal supporter, what are you thinking after seeing that? Because they can't go through the season in that fashion and be successful.
No, and it is worrying. I mean, I think we have to understand they've got, you know, a lot of their centre-halves are out. I mean, Kishoni makes such a difference to this side. You know, obviously, no Gabriel as well. Mustafi was on the bench today. Why he didn't play, I don't know. But I have to say it was brave from Arsene Wenger in the end. You know, the fact that he just decided, you know what, we can't defend, let me go and score more goals than you. I'm going to chuck all my attackers on the pitch. It was really brave of him because it could have gone against him.
A quick reminder, we'll be at the London Stadium for the final of the women's 200 metres at the World Athletics Championship in about 10 minutes or so's time. You won't miss that with Mike Costello and the team. I wonder what's going through Craig Shakespeare's mind as well, because he would have expected his team to close that game out, wouldn't he? They had leads and they couldn't hang on to them, which will really concern him.
I think he'll be very disappointed. I think a lot of the goals they conceded today were poor, and to get themselves into the situation that they did at the Emirates and let that go and not even get a point out of it will heavily concern him. Just the type of goals they conceded was not something that he'll want to take into the next games.
It's proof you can't keep a good man down. How many times last season did Olivier Giroud come off the bench and save Arsenal at a key time? The headlines before the game were all about Lacazette, who scored on his debut in the Premier League, but it was Olivier Giroud, John, who steps off the bench to get the 3 points for them.
That's why I said it during the commentary. That's why you want him, surely, at Arsenal. You know, even though, you know,